If I call you all Grover?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Rob, it's Tom. How you been?
Hey, Tom. Good, man.
Would you think of coming back and playing with me?
Call me when you get to Tampa Bay.
Today's guests, Bleacher Report NFL draft analyst Matt Miller, Clemson linebacker Isaiah Simmons, Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Strahan, from NBC Sports Boston, Tom Curran, plus CEO of VaynerMedia, Gary Vaynerchuk. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Yes, I called TJ out moments before, and he just drained the putt right there in our Rich Eisen Show corner that we have our leaderboard every day, which is our guest list, and we're proud of this guest list today, just like every other. Welcome to this edition of the Rich Eisen Show live on our YouTube stream, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show, and SiriusXM Dan Patrick Radio, channel 211, where we're thrilled to be on after Dan and the Danettes every single day. As soon as Mike Tirico's done with his lunch talk live on NBCSN, then we will be on NBCSN for the final 2 hours. That's when Michael Strahan, NBC Sports Boston, Tom Curran will join us, and then Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, the investor, entrepreneur, and one of the gentlemen behind the All-In Challenge that took off so amazingly well, millions of dollars being raised for people to fight food insecurity right now. So many people going hungry, and Gary V will be joining us, the CEO and co-founder of VaynerMedia, and so much more. Diehard Jet fan. That's how we're going to wrap up this show. In this first hour, Matt Miller of Bleacher Report's calling in about 8 minutes' time. He is their draft scout. He will be all over the final 24 hours of BS, or separating the wheat from the chaff, the smoke from the fire, and all the smoke screens. We know what's going to go down tomorrow night in the NFL draft. Isaiah Simmons should not have a long night. I don't think so. He could wind up being a Giant. He could wind up being a Brown, 4 or 10, anywhere in between. Isaiah Simmons of Clemson football will be joining us right in the middle of this first hour. So we're all over this draft. We're all over everything going on. And just when you thought it was all over, between the love affair of Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, they cannot quit each other. They cannot quit each other. Oh, gosh. Let me soak this all in.
I mean, are you serious, dude?
Oh, dude, whatever you're getting right now, just wait till the top of the next hour, because I don't really have the room, the breadth to explore the studio space on this one right now. Chris Brockman, my resident masshole over there. I don't really have that because, again, Matt Miller's calling in 7 minutes' time, and we know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will not be in the market for a tight end in this year's draft.
No, they have the market cornered on tight ends.
Well, I'll tell you what, the tight end market in the draft this year was maybe at an all-time low. But they had O.J. Howard. They still do. They have Cameron Brate, right?
Right.
Rob Gronkowski coming at you. The recently unmasked singer is going to come back into the National Football League. Just a cup of coffee with the WWE.
Was he 24/7 champ?
Cup of coffee, sitting on those sidelines, dancing with the Laker girls and having a good time.
Living his best life, man.
If there's ever been something that we need, it's a reunion between Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, with Bruce Arians thrown right in the middle. Oh, baby. Oh, man. Do we ever need football to start on time this year?
Right.
What a scenario. Brady, Gronk, and they have 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers already there at the going. And they've got the 14th overall pick in this draft. Tonight I'll be on the air at 9 Eastern time on NFL Network. I'll be live from stage 2 in my office, otherwise known as the left corner of my desk.
Stage 2.
That'll be after I'll be on stage 1 rehearsing this afternoon in the Zoom meeting with me, Dion, and Kevin Hart's apparently going to Zoom in too.
Oh, all right.
He's
Crips
all about the rehearsal.
hard at your house.
He's all about the rehearsal.
Yeah, can't wait.
So that's this afternoon. That'll be on Draftathon, in preparation of Draftathon Live tomorrow night. By the way, how about Tom Brady coming on and let's talk Gronk. Let's talk Gronk in the first half hour of Draftathon Live tomorrow night. on NFL, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
I bet you Brady's it doesn't
Reddit.
work. He can't get his camera working tomorrow.
Oh, no, he'll be working.
How does Zoom work? How do we work this out?
TV12. And he'll be in the Zoom room at that time. Our second-hour guest, Michael Strahan, who, by the way, is also taking part in Gary V's All-In Challenge. He's giving away a nice ticket package for when we're all out of this madness, back to real normal life again. When Gronk and Brady will be out there in Pewter, in Tampa Bay, Florida. I sensed it. I smelled it. We whiffed it last year. And now, I guess, after a year of being apart, Gronk decides to tell the Patriots, I want to play with Tom. And to their credit, by the way, they say, okay. To their credit, to Belichick's credit and Kraft's credit, like, okay, you don't want to play for us? You want to play for him? Go. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the great play for all those years. Thanks for those Hall of Fame years. They could have totally been spiteful about this thing. Right. Absolutely been spiteful about this thing.
I will say, and Tom Curran's going to join us in the third hour today, but he wrote a column yesterday. He said that Bill has always been about what's good for the team, football business, and he made a football business decision. They now have a fourth-round pick that they did not have.
That's right.
And they traded a guy that they didn't plan on having anyway because he retired.
And you could sit here and say, what's a fourth-round pick? What happened to the sixth-round pick of 2000? You can hit the jackpot anywhere. Look at all those picks now. Look at that. We gotta adjust. We gotta change the font. The font gets smaller.
They have a dozen picks, right?
Look at that. They got they've got 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, 12 picks overall. You could put a couple of those thirds and a fourth and maybe a second even next year and move up. They're not going to do that. They're going to stay put.
No, they're going to turn that first into a second.
They're going to stay put. It'll be Jared Stidham to Cameron Brate. And, well, I mean, he's expendable. Oh, it'll probably be 2 times. Maybe O.J. Howard. Maybe he'll come up there. Is it too soon? No, you know what? It's not too soon. It's too soon for me to go all in the manner in which I truly want to go all in because we have too much going on right now. There's the draft tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a lot of NFL draft here now.
There's a draft tomorrow.
A lot of draft.
In our first hour here, we've got Matt Miller of Bleacher Report calling in. He was going to call in about 13 minutes time, but when Isaiah Simmons said, hey, I'll come on in the first hour tomorrow, we're like, okay, we're all good. Let's do it, right? There we go. How you feeling over there? Are you okay?
I mean, I was eating my feelings a little bit yesterday afternoon around like 12:30 when all this was going down. I had a good cry.
Did you really?
No.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Speaking of eating,
I'm fine.
Del Tufo, you said last week when we were chewing on this figuratively, you played the whole 0.0 drop. By the way, thanks to our friends at NBC Sports and the Sunday Night Football on NBC Twitter handle. They were right on it. As soon as Gronk got traded to the Bucs, they cut a piece of our show from last week where we were talking about this.
I know.
And Del Tufo saying, never going to happen. You played the 0.0 drop.
It's a warmer climate.
Now here we are.
Realized that.
Now here we are. Now here we are. And you say you will not. You won't. Will you eat it?
I mean, I have to eat it
on NBC later on.
Yeah, not today.
What do you mean not today?
It's not happening. He ain't playing yet. He's got to play.
By the way,
but I will.
Got to say that
he's got to play.
He's got to play. But in all honesty, I'll do some.
What do you mean you'll do some?
I mean,
we're going to cut the same swath.
No, I'm not.
Cloth.
Literally right next to the piece that I ate is what you're eating.
That much of this hat.
Get out of here.
This hat's been sitting.
Show it to your camera, please. Show it to your camera.
There's no way I'm eating.
That is a nice slice that I cut out. It's about a half inch by half inch.
I take some medicines
that Brockman put right in the middle of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It was disgusting.
He had to eat it because the Eagles made the playoffs. He said that he would eat a hat. And by the way, McLovin, the fact that you took McLovin's bait.
I really did.
That led to that. McLovin's Twitter bait, by the way, is a great fantasy team name.
It's good. It's good.
You took McLovin's Twitter bait, man.
I did.
And said, there's no way the Eagles make the playoffs. If they do, I'll eat a hat.
They shouldn't have made the playoffs. They were terrible.
844-204-RICH, number to dial. We'll take your phone calls later on. Can't wait to do it on NBCSN. Right now, though, he is known as NFL Draft Scout on both Twitter and Instagram, and he is the draft expert from Bleacher Report, joining us right now here on the Rich Eisen Show, a day before the NFL Draft. He's Matt Miller. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing well, Rich. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You got it. So now, how does taking Tampa out of the tight end market mess with your mock draft in the 4th or 5th round, Matt? How does that mess with?
Thankfully, it didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a 7-round mock that comes out tomorrow.
Oh my God!
Which is crazy.
Oh my God!
So yesterday when the trade got leaked, like Schefter and everybody's tweeting about it, I'm panicking, right? Because what got traded? Because I'm going to have to redo something, right? Something's going to change in a 7-round mock draft 2 days before the draft. So I was so thankful that it was a 4th and a 7th rounder. It's that's easy. Okay, I can move some things around. No big deal. If it had been a 1st rounder, I would be very upset right now.
I bet. So let's get to what you think's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be Burrow Young, or do you see any sort of Hail Mary happening? Are you hearing of anything?
No, I'm not. And it's, it's boring. I know for everyone who does this for a living, we would love to have some intrigue right now, but I don't think there is any. I think Joe Burrow has been the number 1 pick since the Bengals earned the right to draft him 1st overall. And after that, I think for Washington, they probably, kick the tires on the quarterbacks just to see if there's a guy that you like better than what you already have. Once they acquired Kyle Allen to be the backup / competition at quarterback, I think that ended any talk of Tua going there or Justin Herbert or any of the other quarterbacks. So it feels like the first 2 picks tomorrow night might be a little boring for you guys.
Well, you know what? It's all good, man, because these guys are some of the best players in college football that we've seen in the past several years, and they had incredible years, and now they're going to come to the NFL, and we'll enjoy them when we get a chance to enjoy them. So 3rd overall, I give you the choice of the Lions picking or trading out. What do you think happens?
I would pick trading out. I think they're trying to generate a market right now, and I think a lot of the smoke screens you're going to see leaked, over the next 48 hours will be to that point of, they're going to try to generate a market so someone comes up for a quarterback. The Dolphins have been waiting for this moment for, it feels like, 2 years to draft their quarterback of the future. They have 3 first-rounders this year, 2 second-rounders, 2 first-rounders next year. They have 14 picks in this draft. So if they want to pop up a couple spots from 5 to 3 to make sure they get their guy, it's not because you have to jump the Giants. It's just to make sure that you get your guy with no uncertainty. I can see that happening. And I think the Lions are going to be willing to lower that price in order to do this. I don't think this will be like the Colts and Jets trade a couple of years ago where the Colts moved back from 3 to 6 so the Jets can get Sam Darnold. I think the asking price could be significantly lower than that. Okay, so I guess now that we're a couple minutes in here, Matt Miller of Bleacher Report, the intrigue is what we think it is, and it's Tua and the evaluation of Tua, and whether the Dolphins are putting up a tremendously effective smokescreen where the number of mock drafts that I'm seeing that have Justin Herbert going to Miami or Miami going in a different direction other than Tua, it's become a cottage industry. I wonder where you sit on that subject right now. I'm with everyone else, and I think I have been for quite some time with. It's, a mock draft isn't what you would do as a general manager. It's what you're hearing. Daniel Jeremiah says that better than anyone. And so when everything you're hearing is Justin Herbert, the Dolphins like Justin Herbert, they're worried about the medicals with Tua, you do wonder because everyone's saying it. So is it like Daniel Jones last year where everyone's saying it to the point that you start to doubt it? You start to wonder if it's true. And so I've definitely gone through that as well of, you put Justin Herbert there at 5 and then you start to overthink it of, is Justin Herbert really Brian Flores' kind of guy? Are they really going to roll the dice on a guy who, he was never great in college. He was pretty good. His most, his best performance was at the Senior Bowl where it's basically a scrimmage, or the Combine where it's, you're throwing against air. I think that is, you start to doubt that in the back of your head of Tua is this, what he is as a passer. He's this great passer. It's Drew Brees-esque at times. But, yeah, there are some injury concerns. But if you just had to compare these two as quarterbacks, it's not even close. Tua is so much better as a quarterback prospect. I know that the injuries come into play, and that's ultimately going to be the deciding factor for Miami. But you're right, Rich. Every mock draft you read,
And every person you talk to around the league right now, they all feel like Miami is going to take Justin Herbert.
Well, who was it yesterday, Chris, who said Marino was the one who's chiming in on this front as well, right? It was Breer, right? Albert Breer was telling us that he thinks that he says in his reporting Marino is saying that he loves Justin Herbert, a big guy with a big arm, et cetera, and so on and so forth. I just can't believe that here we finally are. The Dolphins put in all the work, and by the work I mean trading everybody of value away. And then, however, putting their tank job in the hands of the anti-tank quarterback in Fitzmagic, that they're still, with all of that, here we are. And it sure looks like they're going to have Tua sitting right there at 5. They won't even have to move up to Detroit, it seems like, to go get him. And they're going to pass. They're going to pass? They really are? I mean, I think
their fans are going to riot if and when that happens, because even if you tweet, I'm hearing the Dolphins want Justin Herbert, Dolphins fans come out in mass of, you don't know what you're talking about. There's no way we'll pass on Tua. They've had their heart set on this quarterback for at least a year, and now you're going to be there. He's on the clock. You didn't have to trade up. You didn't have to go winless. The guy you wanted, tank for Tua, he's there, and they're not going to take him. I think it's going to be interesting to see the reaction when that happens.
Okay, Matt Miller here on the Rich Eisen Show, joining me the day before the National Football League draft, before we all get ready in our shelter in place for this whole extravaganza. We're very excited about that. Matt Miller, Bleacher Report on the Rich Eisen Show. What happens next then? So if Tua's passed up on, do you think the Chargers just say there thank you and take him 6th?
I hope so, right? That's where you get to the point of, again, I think some over-evaluation with Tua, and the information out there right now says they do like Tyrod Taylor. I wonder if they like Tyrod so much, why he didn't play last year. And I know Phillip Rivers is a future Hall of Famer, and you want to be respectful to that, but you're also trying to win football games. So I think that all this noise about they really like Tyrod, they think he could be the guy next year, they might think that, but that's also a very effective way to put out there, hey, we might not draft a quarterback, so you hope one falls to you. And so I do think the Chargers take Tua. You're moving into a new stadium. You got to sell tickets. You need a face of the franchise on offense. He can be that. When you're competing with the Rams at SoFi Stadium, you get a guy who's from Hawaii, so there's kind of some West Coast roots there as well. And I do he's the most recognizable player in this draft. It's not Joe Burrow, it's not Chase Young, it's Tua. He is hands down. Playing at Alabama, the stage that he played on, that everyone watches, the College Football Playoff, the national championship where he comes in at halftime and leads the comeback over Georgia. Tua is the face of this draft. And for the Chargers to get that, it makes sense from a business standpoint. It makes sense from a football standpoint. It's almost too good to be true.
As soon as I hang up the phone with you, Matt Miller, I say hello to Isaiah Simmons. Who says hello to Isaiah Simmons on Thursday night?
Yeah, I think Matt Rule's going to be calling him at number 7 overall. Isaiah Simmons, just what an amazing player. You're going to have a good time talking to him as well. He's a great human being. I feel like another guy, it's like, where do you play him? Play him on defense. What do you mean, where do you play him? Where would you play Sean Taylor if he were in the NFL right now? That's where you play Isaiah Simmons. One week he's a safety. The next week he's a linebacker. He's going to be able to blitz. He's going to be able to stop the run. And this is the answer to mobile quarterbacks. This is the answer to tight ends who run a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. So if you're the Panthers, you got a head coach and an offensive coordinator who just came from college. That offensive coordinator saw what Isaiah Simmons did to his LSU Tigers in the first half of the national championship game. To me, that's a slam dunk. You lose Luke Kuechly. Thomas Davis gone a couple of years now. They have their quarterback in Teddy. They trade for an offensive tackle in Russell Okung. The table's set for them to draft Isaiah Simmons, and I think they're uniquely positioned with some college coaches on that staff to know how to unleash him so that he's not just being, okay, we're plugging you in, you're a Mike linebacker, good luck against these offensive guards. They would put him in a position to succeed every play.
Matt Miller, Bleacher Report, few minutes left with the lead NFL draft writer of Bleacher Report here the day before the NFL draft, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So give me teams that are going to be trading up, do you think, for these 8, 9, 10 picks, or maybe even for Carolina's 7th, just in case. Give me what you're hearing in the rumors of the trade up, trade down front.
Yeah, I don't think it's any surprise the Atlanta Falcons. Thomas Dimitroff is one of the most aggressive GMs in football, so I think they would like to trade up for C.J. Henderson, the corner from Florida. And this might be the spot. 7 overall could be that spot. You want to get ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who could also take him. If he's gone off the board, I think Jacksonville's a team that could trade out. And we could be looking at the Broncos trading up for Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver. Maybe the Bucs really want to make sure they get their offensive tackle for Tom Brady. They could trade up and try to get one of the top tackles before you have that run of the Browns and Jets, who would most likely take one off the board. So those teams right in the middle, I think the Buccaneers, the Broncos, the Falcons at 14, 15, 16 are the most intriguing in terms of who's going to move up tomorrow night.
I put Trevor Lawrence in this quarterback draft class. You put him where, Matt?
He would be, probably first overall. He's incredibly good and still getting better. I hope to God we get to see him play college football this coming fall because he's truly special. He's a little bit stronger than Joe Burrow and a little bit more athletic. So I do think he would be the first pick.
I mean, you know Joe Burrow threw 60 touchdown passes, right, Matt?
I love Joe Burrow. He's my guy. I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan. But that tells you how good Trevor Lawrence is.
It does, right? I mean, like that, and that's. Do you think that is a prevailing evaluation?
I think it is right now. But I'm old enough to remember when everybody thought Matt Leinart was going to be the first. It was like for 3 years Matt Leinart was going to be the first pick in the draft, and we go through these cycles of once you get to actually break the guy down, you'll find some flaws. You'll find something. He's a little skinny, or there will be something, but. I think as of now, the upside with Trevor Lawrence is probably as good as, you have to go back to like Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning where you see this guy coming and there's just not really anything he doesn't do well.
What's your best guess where Jordan Love goes?
Best guess, I'll say the Colts. Maybe they have to move up to get him, but I think the Colts at 34 are a really, really interesting option where he doesn't have to play right away. And you can just let that arm strength develop. Remember, Ballard was in Kansas City when they were all over Mahomes. I know he was gone by the time they drafted him, but I think Chris Ballard could look at this and say, this might be my shot to get a rare athlete with a huge arm. We could sit, let him learn and develop for a year.
Yeah, let's linger on this one for a second, Matt. I mean, here's a couple things. First of all, if Jordan Love drops in the first round, as now I'm beginning to hear that's a prevailing thought, and that he starts getting down in the late 20s and early 30s, somebody's going to hop back into the first round and make sure that they get an extra year of contractual control on him. I don't think he's going to fall out of the first round just for that alone. I think somebody's going to get itchy about it and say, let's be smart about it. Let's not wait till tomorrow. Let's not give other general managers a full night to call everybody around and try and get him at the top of Friday night. Let's go get him now. Let's get an extra year of contractual control. And I don't know if the Colts are that team because let's just say, again, knock on wood, if you're with me, football goes down on time this year. They got Phillip Rivers. This is the time that you got to fill it up for Phil right now. You can't just sit here and use your draft choice that you have that's your best on something other than setting things up for Phillip to win right now.
I agree with that completely. The Colts have no quarterback under roster for 2021, though. No, I mean, everyone's a free agent. So at some point, they're going to have to make a move. And it does not seem like Chris Ballard to wait. So you know what? We'll be in next year on Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. We're going to put all our eggs into this. We believe we can win now with Phillip Rivers. All our eggs are in that basket. We'll figure out next year when we get to next year. There are teams like that. I think Ballard is just too smart to be that guy. They pick at 34.
Yeah.
So like you said, if he starts to slide, you might not have to come up that far to get him to where it's not completely depleting. I think they only have 6 choices in this draft, so you're not completely depleting your draft reserves to go get a player that it's a little bit boring because you're drafting someone who's not helping you this year. But if for some reason Phil goes down or plays like he did in December, you might need that quarterback faster than you think you do.
Yeah, that's just an interesting aspect of the draft is just, how far do you have to move up? And if Love gets down to, say, where San Francisco's there, I mean, the Niners would love for Love to drop right down to 31 because they're looking to get out and start replenishing. We talked to John Lynch yesterday. They don't have a second, third, or fourth. They need some more second night. They need a second night pick. And I think that might be something right there. Matt Miller here on the Rich Eisen Show. Give me names of guys that you love that you think would be a great selection for a team either on Thursday night or Friday. Give me those names, Matt.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is my guy, and I know that he's going to be the first pick, so that's boring to say. But I fell in love with him in Austin, Texas, early September, watching him beat my beloved Texas Longhorns. So maybe I'm cheating on that one. But Antoine Winfield Jr. from Minnesota.
He had a great combine, man. He had a great combine. Great.
Should have won the Thorpe Award as well. No disrespect to Grant Dell, but he should have won the Thorpe. 7 picks, 3 sacks. He was the heart and soul of that team. Every time I watch him play, I think I'm watching Tyrann Mathieu back in college. It's just an impact on every snap on defense. He's a little undersized. Know he was banged up in college, but he is one of those dudes I'm going to be rooting for no matter where he lands, because it's a little bit of a throwback in the way he plays, and it's infectious. You fall in love watching his game.
Right, and like I said, great combine, stellar. He did everything perfectly that day in Indianapolis. He was terrific. And what about a final day pick? What do you think? 4th, 5th, 6th? Who's sitting out there that you think, whether it's a quarterback, prospect, receiver? Give me a couple names on that front, Matt.
I don't know if he'll last long enough, but I am really intrigued by Antonio Gibson from Memphis. He only touched the ball like 77 times in college, but he scored like 14 touchdowns. It's incredible. Play some running back, play some wide receiver. So finding the right fit for him is going to be interesting, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's 3 years and we're rewatching this draft like everyone was last night watching the 2017 one and saying, gosh, how did Antonio Gibson fall to the 3rd or 4th round? Because he's an instant playmaker. Again, whether it's running back, wide receiver, as a return man, I think he's someone you just got to find a way to get the ball in his hands. And a creative offensive coordinator is going to really like the traits that he's bringing to the table.
Matt, appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the draft, however you're taking it in. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Rich. Thanks.
You got it. That's Matt Miller right here from Bleacher Report on the Rich Eisen Show. Isaiah Simmons going to be calling in our guest line in a second. Before we unpack all that, let me tell you about our friends at Geico. If you are renting your home or owning it, and it's hard work, right? It's such hard work. You're renting or owning and trying to figure out how to make heads or tails in this world. Bundling policies with Geico can make things easy for you. You can figure out how to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. You got so much to do around your home. Let Geico make things a little bit easier for you. So go to geico.com, get a quote, see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. You're going to have Isaiah Simmons joining us in a second. So I don't want to give away too much about what's tonight at 9 Eastern time. As you know, Daniel Jeremiah does not do a mock draft. He's taken a page from Mayock. Mayock used to give you top 5 at each position, starting at the combine all the way through to the week before the draft, and then the powers that be at the NFL Media Group would twist his arm so severely, he would finally say, okay, a few years ago, he's like, okay, I'll do a mock draft. And this is the guy who burst onto the scene with NFL Network as a draft expert by pegging Aaron Rodgers dropping all the way to 24 to Green Bay, the year that he and Alex Smith came out. I love seeing that footage on NFL Network where I'm sitting there with hair and a split screen of him 2 weeks before saying, I'm going to give you my, Aaron Rodgers all the way to 24. He nailed it. So tonight, at 9 Eastern time, we rehearsed it yesterday because, we want to work out the kinks of,
exactly,
you know what I mean? The bandwidth.
That's
we want to make sure bandwidth is not a problem. The same way the NFL did on Monday, right?
It's called a rehearsal.
So here's what I will say. The quarterback group, where he's got these guys going, is a little surprising, to say the least. All right? I can't give you the over-under on the number of quarterbacks he's got in the first round, because that's a spoiler alert for how long you should stick around.
Right.
And the wide receiver group, if it goes down the way that he's saying that it goes down, would be quite something. Because he's got it all jumbled up in terms of the order. You think, it's Judy and Ruggs and CeeDee Lamb. Well, don't forget about Jefferson. And where he's got Jefferson going would be the somewhat of a little bit of an eyebrow raiser.
Okay.
And then he includes trades. He includes a big trade in the top 10.
In the top 10?
Yes, sir.
Top 5?
I don't want to. I can't confirm or deny.
Okay.
Cannot confirm or deny. But this is what he puts all together, everything that he's hearing and seeing and talking about with all of the individuals that are out there. And
this is 9 o'clock Eastern?
And either 9 o'clock Eastern tonight.
Right.
Again, I'll be on stage 2, which is the left corner of my desk in my office. And again, it's something. And by the way, I just want to give kudos here on channel 211 Sirius XM and also our YouTube stream, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Our producers are all sheltered in place. Our director's sheltered in place. It's amazing how this is all being done on NFL Network right now with no control room in Los Angeles. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Right? And at some point, my internet may have to get reset. My dog may come in the room. You never know. That could be your underdog pick.
Your dog comes in.
That could be your underdog pick.
Would be awesome.
Do you have a poll question for the top of the hour
I
you want to workshop while Isaiah Simmons is calling in a second?
I'm just going to go for it here. We're just going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
How do the Bucs finish in 2020? Let's just go for it. This is all anybody's talking about. They're getting a super.
What are your choices?
Getting a super team together. Make the Super Bowl, make NFC Championship, win the South, miss the playoffs.
Miss the playoffs. If you think someone's going to miss the playoffs
I think
button.
there are a lot of people who think no matter what, they're going to go 8-8.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Just remember, the Browns won the offseason, were the 4th betting favorite. Now, in case you're wondering, while we wait for Isaiah Simmons, how this affected Super Bowl odds, Gronk's move yesterday.
Yes.
The Bucs went from 11-1 to 10-1.
Ha! That's it, huh?
Wow.
Not a big move. Not a big move. Still behind. They're the 5th betting favorite, where they were after they got Tom Brady.
What is the matter with
But they're
people?
still behind the Saints at 10-1, the Niners plus 850, the Ravens are 6-1, and the Chiefs are still your favorite.
I'm putting $1,000 on that.
11-2.
At 10-1 right now.
First of all, just so you know, I do not.
you don't know what we're talking
Thomas
about.
Dimitrov is calling right now. I wonder, what's going on.
Should we
Does
just?
he not? Does he
Should
not?
you just put him on speaker real
I
quick?
can't do that. I can't do that to Thomas.
He has put
Hold
you
on a
on
second.
speaker in the past.
Hold on a second.
Put him on.
Darn it! He just
Put
hung
him
up.
on speaker.
Hold on a minute. I don't know.
It might have been a butt dial, Rich.
I don't know about
kidding.
that.
I don't know. Thomas does things for
He
a
just
reason.
called. I'm on the air.
Actually, you want us to call him in the air? It looks
we
like
can.
Isaiah Simmons is going to be 9:40.
Okay.
So we have some time.
No,
if
I'm
you
on
wanna,
the air.
If you
Almost.
want to call Thomas.
Almost picked up. What's up? How's that? Do
What's up?
you think he called us from that setup? By
I
the way-
sure hope
yeah.
so.
So on that front, we've got more general manager / coaching home
only
office
one I
draft room setups that we'll reveal later on in hour number 2.
I want one.
But here's that's it. Maybe he called from there, right there, sitting on that blue couch.
Are those touch screens? Can he just touch your face and
I don't know.
dial you?
I have no idea.
So
Maybe
he
he's
sent
clarifying those are not M&Ms.
He sent us another angle, right? A lot of people were
Yeah.
commenting on the lamp in the background about
Yes.
how
Which lamp? Is
There's
it the
a lamp.
lava lamp that I was referring
there's
to?
a
the end?
lamp in the
Well, it's like a-
background,
like-
the one right in the corner that looks
There.
like a monkey.
Yeah, what
like
is
a
that?
glass monkey lamp. People were commenting on that.
What is that?
Is that what that is?
They don't look
Those
like
are M&Ms on
either.
the front.
Are they?
Those are totally M&Ms.
They
Those
look like
might be
Skittles.
sour
Those are
Skittles.
Skittles or something.
Those are M&Ms,
Those look
white M&Ms.
sour.
For those who are at home, maybe mimicking what Don Bowie's saying in my ear. Trust me, I am a veteran of National Football League drafts and a crusty Hall of Fame veteran of
The teams
M&Ms.
have all of them.
All teams
Yep.
have had M&Ms, and many of them are white, and they're written, stamped on them. You could see, will be the Falcons logo. If you want to
Yes.
zoom in on that.
Oh yeah, you can get custom M&Ms.
If you
No,
want
they
to
do.
zoom in on that, the NFL has custom M&Ms.
Yep.
And at Radio City Music Hall, the M&Ms would be sitting there. This is well before the
Rich, not
era
gonna
of
lie.
wash your hands 15 times a day.
I would, Rich. I dug in, Rich, too. On those rehearsal days.
We would get
of the
NFL
draft.
Network M&Ms. Zooming in. See, those are birds right there.
Yep. Those are probably from the draft.
That's it. No, I'm sure they are.
And he took them
He
and put
doesn't
them in
eat 'em.
there.
Gray, red,
doesn't eat
white,
'em.
black.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a second.
We have
He has responded.
we have
Hold
time
on.
to call
got
him.
time to call
we have
him.
time
Let
to
me
call him back. I will say, Rich. We got about 8 or 9 minutes before Isaiah Simmons.
Can you?
Oh, man. He worked a little blue in my text. His text to me.
Oh.
I just told him call back. Let's see if he does. If he does, I'll put him on speaker.
We can just call him on the main line here.
I don't know. By the way, I just find it funny that yesterday you guys were like, you should text Belichick
Yes.
to take a picture of his
That
setup.
would have been great.
And he's in the middle.
I know.
He's in
This
the
would have been
middle
great.
of trading Gronk. All right? This is what... Again,
That would have been the perfect time.
save it. Isaiah Simmons
Could
just
you
called in.
imagine if you got a text, I'm busy, back?
Isaiah Simmons. By the way, could you imagine if Dimitrov calls in while should I hook him up with Simmons? Say, hey,
It's tampering.
Is that
That
tampering?
might be a tampering situation.
Tampering?
I don't know if you want to get involved.
is this who
in
you're
that.
trading up for?
I don't know if you want to get involved.
Hit the merge call button,
Rich, if you
which
would
I've
text,
become an expert in here these days.
If you
I've
would
been
text
merging
Bill-
a lot of calls.
if you would text Bill and he went, I'm busy yesterday.
I'm busy.
I would have laughed.
Oh man.
Up here.
Bring him up. He's here courtesy of Old Spice. He is one of the top prospects in the 2020 NFL Draft, live here on the Rich Eisen Show from Clemson football, Isaiah Simmons. How are you, Isaiah?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am fine. Where have I found you? Where are you?
I'm in Olathe, Kansas right now.
That's where you now. Why are you in there? Why are you there right now? Is that where you? That's where you're from?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
You're from there. How did you wind up at Clemson, Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah, funny story. So Clemson came super late. They came about a month before signing day. And the reason that came about was J-Ron Curran, Mackenzie Alexander, T.J. Green, they all declared for the national championship, or after the national championship in 2015. So Coach Venables has his wife is from this area, as well as, his history at K-State. So he had friends around here, and he got my film sent to him, and he said he fell in love immediately. And, ever since I took a visit there, the rest has been history.
So that's how he found you in the middle of this country, right there in Kansas, and that's how you wound up a Clemson Tiger. Is basically
Yep, that's right.
because his wife had ties to the area. Isn't that amazing? How that works sometimes. Wow. Who else was knocking on your door at the time?
Michigan, a lot of Big Ten schools, a lot of Big 12 schools.
Okay. Let me linger on that. You know where I went to school, Isaiah Simmons? You know where I went to school?
Where is that?
I went to the University of Michigan. Why didn't you choose that institution of higher learning and excellence? Why didn't you go there?
Have you been to Clemson before?
What?
I'm asking. Have you been to Clemson before?
Have I been to Clemson before?
Yeah.
I don't have to go to Clemson to know Michigan's the all-time greatest spot on planet Earth. Isaiah?
I mean, you don't know what you don't know.
Who told you that? Who told you
I mean,
that?
they call it God's country. Don't shoot the messenger, but I'm just letting you know what it's called.
No, Dabo's also pretty damn convincing when he wants to be, I bet, right?
Yeah, he is. He is.
So, what's your relationship? What was your relationship with him like? Because I'm sure, and I heard, that's why I'm saying I'm sure, you wanted to play offense, Isaiah, right? You wanted to get some snaps on the offensive side of the ball, correct?
Yeah. So there's I'm not gonna say a lot of games where we were up pretty big, and I'm like, Coach, just let me get one go ball and just let the quarterback let it ride. And he wasn't really going for it. He would just laugh and kind of giggle. But he plays a lot of players each game, so I'm like, maybe I'll get a shot. So then they told me if I get a pick six that I'll get my chance. So I got one, and I didn't get my chance that year. So just this past year, if we get up big on Ohio State, then I'll let you get one snap. He was a little. Give me it was because he just didn't want me to go out there and get injured. He said, what would I look like if you go get injured in the fourth quarter and we're up by 40 points? So, I mean, it was all out of the goodness of his heart, but I enjoy playing defense a lot more.
So, how good of a receiver can you be? I know you did it in high school, but, Clemson, as we all know, is maybe wide you right now with who we're seeing perform in the NFL. How good can you be at that position?
I mean, in high school, I had 29 receptions for 994 yards and 17 touchdowns. So, I mean,
Give
the
or
numbers
take.
don't lie. The numbers don't lie. So I feel like I can go out there and make some shake.
Okay, and then interestingly enough, there is a debate, a raging debate, actually, amongst NFL scouts and NFL evaluators as to what's the best position for you in the NFL. What is the best position for you in the NFL, Isaiah Simmons? You call it. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think with a creative defensive coordinator, somebody who really knows how to utilize the personnel that they have, that I could play a similar role that I played at Clemson. You see it happen now with Tyrann Mathieu and Derwin James. So I feel like I can still play a similar role and affect the game from everywhere, just like I did in college.
That's a smart answer. See, you could have gone to Michigan. That's such a smart answer. You could have been a Michigan Wolverine. I mean, because you're not going to peg yourself right there. But where are you most comfortable then? Which level are you most comfortable in, Isaiah?
I don't really believe that there's a level that I'm more comfortable in than another, because I'm just as comfortable rushing the passer as I am out in coverage. So it's hard for me to really boil down into one.
Isaiah Simmons here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few more minutes left with Isaiah, who's here courtesy of Old Spice, which we'll get to in a second. How many teams have you been chatting with?
For the most part, just the top 10.
Okay. So, Giants? You chatted with the Giants?
I have part of the top 10.
Okay. You chatted with the Browns? Have you chatted with the Browns, Isaiah?
Briefly.
Briefly. Dolphins. You chatted with the Dolphins?
Briefly.
Have you chatted with the Patriots, Isaiah Simmons? You tell me yes or no. Have you chatted with the New England Patriots?
I have not, actually. Just my at the combine. But other than that, no.
Oh, at the combine. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you chat with Bill Belichick himself at the combine?
Mainly just the defensive coordinator, but he threw a little question in there.
So Bill Belichick was in the room when you were there?
He was.
All right. What did he ask you? What did he ask you? Can you remember?
I can't really remember.
Oh, see, he is smart.
He's smart.
Yeah, that's like Fight Club. You can't talk about Belichick. You're right. I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to ruin your draft stock. But your draft stock is not ruinable, quite frankly. I mean, you are as on fire as anybody is right now. If I told you that when you were growing up in Kansas, what would you have said?
I don't know if I would have quite thought that would have been possible. I feel like Kansas football is slightly overlooked.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're striking a blow for all of football in the state of Kansas.
That's right. I'm trying to help the guys. I'm trying to just pave the way a little bit so everything will be easier for them. Darren Sproles did a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love Darren. He's a legend around here.
He
but
is.
I'm just bringing my shovel, my plow along to help pave it a little more.
Jordy Nelson, right? Can't forget Jordy. Jordy's a Kansas State guy,
yeah.
right? Let's not forget him. And I'm sure we're forgetting many others. And now you, Isaiah Simmons. Okay, so Old Spice is going to start donating a bunch of money on behalf of you and other prospects, correct? That's what's going on now with Old Spice?
Yeah, to be exact, $320,000 just to United Way, just to support underprivileged guys and their families. So I'm really excited just to partner with them, just because of the great history that they have of helping athletes, as well as how it's going to be a great jumpstart on the impact of the new community that I end up in. And I mean, I grew up wearing Old Spice day in, day out. My grandfather wore it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all I really knew. So being able now, like my dream coming true of being drafted and then getting to partner with something I grew up in, it's really cool. And also it's a good thing that's happening behind it all.
That's great. I'm happy for you, Isaiah Simmons. So many Giants fans watched you play against Ohio State and were texting me saying, that's my guy. That's my guy. That's what they were all saying. I know you don't want to peg yourself, but New York City, that's not a bad spot. New Jersey, New York City, right? To live?
I've only been there once.
That's it? Oh, it
was freezing cold. I don't really know. I don't know about it.
Well, I mean, you're used to the cold. You got to be used to the cold. I mean, Kansas is not the warmest spot all the time, so you got to be just fine with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. The weather. That's not the issue. Because, like you said, I'm used to you get everything here in Kansas. But
sure.
don't know. I just don't really know much about it.
All right, Isaiah. Well, look, I'm from that area. If you do wind up in that area on Thursday night, you know how to reach me. And plus, I don't know if you're aware, but, I've been with NFL Network since 2003, when you were way before your Old Spice wearing days. So when you enter the National Football League and my show calls, the Rich Eisen show calls, you have to. It's a mandatory that you appear on this show. I don't know if you're aware of that. Okay.
We'll see about that one.
Well, that is not an acceptable answer. We'll see about that one. The answer is okay, Rich. Come on. No? What?
Hey, man, I can't make no promises.
Oh, you don't know what you don't know, I guess, is what you're saying.
Not.
Bring it all full circle.
What you don't know.
All right, Isaiah. I'll just take that as a yes. That's the way I'll take it. And we'll chat down the road. Good luck to you. Have a great draft night. I hope it's as quick as you want it to be.
Thank you.
Right back at you. That is Isaiah Simmons. I'll tell you what, man.
He could have went to Michigan. He's smart. He's a
New
smart
York
kid.
City area.
Smart kid.
That will be great. Let him go hunt and play in the New York City area. That was delightful, even though he absolutely gave me the Heisman at the very end right there.
He gave you all kinds of business in that interview.
He can hunt. He can defend.
He is a really good player.
He's a grown-ass man.
That's an understatement.
He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Let's give this guy some credit.
I like that he said he only talked to teams in the top 10.
Yeah, he's like Dion.
Yeah.
Where are you drafting?
Who'd you talk to?
Where are you drafting?
Just the top 10.
Well, Dion wouldn't even speak to somebody down at 10.
Yeah.
That's why he spoke to the Browns for a little bit. What time was it? That's the time. That's what I gave the Browns. It's 9:20, 9:46 Pacific. That's the time I gave the Browns.
We're good.
Let's give this man some credit. Let's give him some run. Calling the Rich Eisen show as he did last week. This man had the crystal ball. His name is Jeremy from Alabama. Jeremy, we thought of you yesterday the minute that this Gronk trade happened. We all did.
My phone, my Instagram, and my Twitter blew up when they announced it yesterday.
Walk everybody through, Jeremy. If they're new to Jeremy from Alabama and this whole Gronk playing Tampa thing, walk everybody through that process. I give you the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. I
welcome.
called last week. I saw the scenario. It was a perfect storm when you just look at it and see Gronkowski in Florida with the WWE, and you saw Tom go down there. The Tampa Bay Gronkaneers are now going to go 9, and with 9 wins, they're going to sneak in the wild card. I just think how great is it? I mean, my question is this: though.
Yes.
Do I need to send a recipe in for the hat to be eaten, or do you already have a recipe?
Oh no, send a recipe.
Whatever Del Tufo's doing right now,
What do you
he
got?
was too focused. Were you looking at a cat photograph?
No.
What are you looking at over there?
I'm eating it with what I want to eat it with.
That's not how it goes,
Oh,
Mike.
yeah, it does. Peanut butter and
No,
jelly.
you
So you
chose
have nothing to
PBJ.
say.
You
You have
chose
nothing to say.
PBJ.
You're done.
Get out.
You're done.
So the question
I
is,
can eat it with whatever I want.
A little marinara?
No,
little,
I told you.
Little what? Little
He
gabagol?
wants something like an In-N-Out burger.
What do you want?
In-N-Out burger or something like that, or a pizza. Slice of pizza. It's going to be
So it'll be a topping? It'll be a topping? It'll be a hat topping on a slice of pizza?
We're folding this
Well,
pizza.
I know you're from the East Coast. You fold pizza. Jeremy, I think as much as you'd like to
gotta
spike
play first.
as much as you'd like to spike the football like Gronk, I think we have to let Mike choose the method of his
demise of the
of his mastication. His mastication method, I think, has got to be.
But I'm more
his
happy
choice.
the fact that he's not playing for the Patriots. So it's a victory meal for me. That's a victory meal. The fact that Brady there to watch him playing.
By the way, I like that Tampa Bay Gronkaneers. Jeremy in Alabama.
Awesome.
You were on fire. So your phone was blowing up, friends, yesterday? People were blowing up?
Oh.
This is great.
Oh, yeah, they were. You called it, man. Oh, my gosh, you called it. And it just, oh, my goodness.
You were the one who
I'm
called
so
in here.
happy.
You were the one who called in here and said, what about that possibility? And I heard it. You had me at hello. And I'm like, we're going to pound that drum. And I thought, we'll just pound it in May because that's stuff to talk about after the draft. And who knew? It was underneath our draft Christmas tree. 2 days before The chimney.
Well, what happens with O.J. Howard now? I mean, does Tampa Bay use him? Did they use him to trade up in this draft?
Oh, I don't think so.
Next year.
I think he might be thrown into a trade, maybe draft night with somebody, but I don't think that would be fodder to move up. I don't think. I mean, first round is serious business. To go from 14 to 9. Someone who want a draft choice, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see, Jeremy. You've nailed everything, so that'll definitely happen on Thursday night. Thanks for the call.
I will say this:
Yes,
they've
sir.
got a chance. They were 7-9 last year in a horrible division other than New Orleans.
Thanks for the call, Jeremy. I appreciate. Congrats. You deserve it. Thanks for calling in, Jeremy in Alabama.
Yeah, Bucs have been trying to move O.J. Howard for a few days now.
In advance.
No takers so far.
And by the way, how about if this was in the offing from the beginning, which it had to have been. That whole conversation of Brady's insisting on Antonio Brown coming. That's rich. Gronk was coming all along.
You think this was in the?
Oh yeah.
The whole time.
Oh yeah. I thought this was just like, hey, let me see where you land, Tom. We'll see where you land. See if it works out. We play acted last year with Gronk last summer.
Yeah, I just posted that again.
Did you?
If you want to hit that.
I played a Michigan man named Tom. He played a future Hall of Fame tight end named Rob. And we play acted on the conversation how it would go last Thanksgiving. And that conversation may have happened, but not for the Patriots. Tampa's a different story. I love it. Jordan Leggett, great tweet.
Yeah, well, it seems like Jordan Leggett had no choice. On the Bucs official roster, Gronk already has 87.
Does he? He took it from him, huh?
Yeah.
They took it from him. Great tweet. Just a great tweet. What an absolute beautiful turn of events. Just beautiful.
Hey man, look, I'm happy for Bucs fans.
I really don't believe that for a second.
You know what I mean? I'm happy for Bucs fans.
I don't believe that. I appreciate you taking a high road.
They've won one time in 50 years. It's cool.
Very rarely do I want to crosstalk on a show like this, but I'm enjoying every minute of this.
Enjoy what I've got to experience for the last 20 years. The last 10 with Gronk.
My God.
I'm just happy for them. El Zuro, our old buddy.
Yes.
Bucs fan. Congrats.
Oh, look at Ross Tucker. That's the hot take we're all looking for. He went there. He didn't retire from football. He retired from Belichick.
He retired because he hurt. He hurt. He needed a break.
Beat up by Bill.
He just needed
That's
some
the
time
hot take
off.
we're all looking for right there.
Not here for it. By the way, speaking of hot takes, did you take notice to Dan Shaughnessy's Twitter yesterday?
No, sir.
Oh, talking about how Gronk screwed the Pats. Fans should be pissed at Gronk.
About what? Not playing last year?
No, about when he chose to retire, kind of screwed the Pats in free agency.
Oh.
And then doing all this, I'm like, come on.
Man, everybody's got their own world to live in.
Come on, Dan.
Got their own world to live in.
I'm not here for Gronk slander.
Tampa Bay Gronk in here.
That was funny. Have you heard that anywhere else?
I saw that yesterday.
Tampa Bay Gronk.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was rehearsing.
I was melting down yesterday.
Doing rehearsing. Trying to be present as a dad. Oh, is it Percy Harvin news? What's going on with that?
Wants to make a comeback after 3 years off.
Why the hell not? Ready to return to the NFL. Thought it was done. The itch came back. I've been training with a former Olympian. By the way, that's me.
You're the former.
Yeah, I just want to reveal that here. My body's feeling good mentally. I'm better. My family's good. Timing's right. Hopefully his head's screwed on right. That's what Josina Anderson's
Is he going to the Bucs too? Are they just taking everybody?
Why not? Oh, dude, I've really. Oh, hold on a second. I had a dream. Well, yeah, he wants that. There you go. He likes it.
Oh, there it is. I didn't even see that yet.
There you go.
There you go.
By the way, everyone's going to be knocking on that door. NFC South, baby.
Why not?
NFC South.
You got 2 years. Tom's playing 2 more years. Go for it.
How do you know it's just 2 more? Got 3 more, maybe. 43, 44, 45.
I'm just saying his contract is for 2 years.
Oh, well. They can extend it.
Yeah.
It's not The Last Dance.
Glazer has money.
Oh, my gosh.
They got a couple bucks.
Oh, okay. Here's it. You know, it's very rare that I just want to meditate on the air because I just want my head to be totally clear for the top of the next hour when I've got enough runway to make a meal of this whole thing. It's coming your way. Just want to give you that heads up.
It's cool,
Talking
man.
about a meal.
It's cool. It's cool.
Make a meal of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm good with it.
Tom Curran will be on at the top of our third and final hour to give us the boots on the ground thoughts on all of this. From NBC Sports Boston, NBC SN audience will join us in just a few minutes' time. Michael Strahan's first up. Can't wait to chat with our good friend. Love this guy. Pro Football Hall of Famer. Did we just talk to the next New York Giant, Isaiah Simmons?
Very possible.
Gary Vaynerchuk, the CEO and co-founder of VaynerMedia, and so much more. He is one of the inspirations for the All In campaign, raising money for the fight against food insecurity, trying to get people fed in this pandemic.
Yeah, it's really awesome what they're doing. So
And
many people involved.
Phone calls at 844-204-RICH. Also,
Let me throw up the poll real quick.
I have not one, not two, but three new draft settings. Oh, Dimitrov never called back.
He didn't?
Oh, no, he did. Damn it. 19 minutes ago.
Oh, you missed it. We were
I did
talking to
miss it.
Isaiah Simmons.
So I'll read his retort later on the air when we walk through all of the new coach / general manager / team president. We've got a general manager, a coach, and a team president. I think that's what it is, or an SVP of football ops, who may be a Pro Football Hall of Famer too. We've got his home draft set up. That's still to come here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're off and running, baby. Oh, you got to stay tuned for the next hour, the way I'm going to start this thing. It's going to be fun.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
You mind if I call you all Grover?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Rob, it's Tom. How you been?
Hey, Tom, good, man.
Would you think of coming back and playing with me?
Call me when you get to Tampa Bay.
Earlier on the show, Bleacher Report NFL draft analyst Matt Miller, Clemson linebacker Isaiah Simmons. Still to come, Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Strahan. From NBC Sports Boston, Tom Curran, CEO of VaynerMedia, Gary Vaynerchuk. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Rich Eisen Show on NBCSN. Joining our Sirius XM Channel 211 and YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show stream audience. We got the whole family here now for the next couple of hours here on this Wednesday. We've got the NFL draft coming up tomorrow night. It is happening. And I'm beginning to feel that pre-draft excitement. I'm beginning to feel it. And I'm feeling it here at this desk. I'll be feeling it in my home office desk, the left part of my desk tonight on NFL Network at 9 Eastern time for the mock draft with Daniel Jeremiah. I'll be at the left desk position, otherwise known as stage 2 in my home office. Stage 1, the right desk position, is where I will be for Draftathon starting Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern time, 4:30 Pacific on stage 1, right side of my desk here in the left coast. I'm rehearsing for that today with Deion Sanders, who will be with me all night in the Zoom Draftathon chat room all night long. First half hour, Kevin Hart will be with me. And then Michael Strahan will join and Russell Wilson will join. And at one point, scheduled to appear, will be Tom Brady. I wonder what we can talk about with Tom. Let me workshop this thing. Oh, yeah. We could talk about the reunion. We could talk about him being back together. Peanut butter with his jelly. Or if you're a Reese's fan, peanut butter and chocolate go together great. Back together with his tight end, Rob Gronkowski. Chris Brockman, my resident New Englander.
Yeah.
Man who absolutely loves his New England Patriots and his Red Sox, his Celtics, his Bruins.
Yeah.
Mike Del Tufo, my resident New Jersey guy who hates all of what Brockman stands for. Good to see you gentlemen here today.
Good to see you,
How
Rich.
to unpack this piece of delightful manna from football heaven. The day before the National Football League draft, we have this fully placed in front of us. Yesterday is when it happened, as soon as we went off the air. Rob Gronkowski, after spending a year off, losing all that weight, hanging out with the Laker girls dancing, hanging out with the WWE, doing whatever he did for them. The unmasked singer, Rob Gronkowski, who spiked Steve Harvey's Lego head on New Year's Eve.
That's right. I forgot that.
That Rob Gronkowski says, I am tired of all that. I want to play football again, and I want to play with my buddy Tom. And it's going to be Brady, as if Brady leaving New England and leaving the Patriots isn't tough enough for the New England sports fans to swallow. As if Brady leaving New England and the Patriots for Tampa. And I got to say it in that voice, with all due respect to Dick Vitale.
I mean, you went higher register.
Tampa.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers, with all due respect to my buddy Sapp, Brooks, those prideful Buccaneers.
I mean, that
Lynch.
photo that Schefter tweeted out yesterday.
Okay. The Buccaneers. As if it's not that
difficult for you and the rest of New England to swallow. Gronk says, I will come back. I, too, shall put on the pewter. I, too, will fire the cannons. And yes, of anybody associated with the National Football League in the past, name it, 10, 15 years, who should be Florida man, it's Rob Gronkowski. And maybe, just maybe, after all the duck boat parades that the rest of the country had to watch you go through, or not go through, enjoy, soak in. And it's not just the Patriots. We all know the last 20 years have been the golden age of Boston sports. Red Sox curse, history, Celtics lifting the Lawrence Francis O'Brien Trophy. I think that's what the F stands for.
I think so.
In the National Basketball Association, the Bruins got in on the act.
Bruins got a cup.
I don't know what the New England Revolution did. I'm assuming they won at
Probably,
one point. Why not? Everybody's doing it.
Why not?
Right?
Parades after parades.
All of that, the rest of the country, quite frankly, had to eat. Now.
Oh, yeah, we had a good time.
Now, pulling up to the table and saying, how about those Buccaneers? How about those Buccaneers?
Ballin'.
The Tampa Bay Gronkoneers. How about them? Maybe, just maybe, Arians should reach out to help the defense. You need somebody who maybe should be designated to hit the quarterback. Maybe Big Papi wants to play. Go get him. We saw him at the Super Bowl. He's looking great. Knock on wood if you're with me.
Not knocking on wood.
Let's get David Ortiz out.
This is the worst thing I've ever
minute.
heard.
Wait a minute.
Stop.
I've got it. Wait a minute. What do you call the back end of the defense? Right in the middle. Right in the middle of the defense.
Safety.
Well, I mean, that's what you do call them, but they play a certain part of the football field that they borrow a phrase from baseball. I don't know, like the center.
Like center field.
Maybe the Bucs should reach out to the Dodgers and see if Mookie Betts wants to go play.
I mean,
right?
Are you enjoying yourself over there?
Fire the cannons with Larry Bird. Get him to fire a cannon.
I mean, are you having fun?
Oh, come on.
You enjoying yourself?
I'm speaking on behalf of so many people right now.
I know the Yankees haven't won in a while.
Excuse me, you may fire back all you want in this direction.
I know
That's
it's
fine.
been a while.
I'm not speaking on behalf of me. Chris, when I sit in this chair on the Rich Eisen show and all of these networks, radio and linear, NBCSN, I sit here and put myself in the shoes of a fan, right? And try and channel what others are thinking and give it voice. This is not on behalf of me. This is on behalf of a large portion of the sports world.
I would say about 45 other states.
Today, just saying, oh my gosh, we watched all of this year after year after year. And now it's all over. Of the Brady, Belichick, Gronk era. Gronk on top of it. What a cherry on top. And I'll tell you this. Folks. And this is why we need football and we need to go back to normal. Gronk in Ybor City. Gronk during Gasparilla. It's just made in heaven. Gronk in Tampa. It's made for TV. It's made by the football gods. Gronk coming back. And by the way, our poll question plays into this. Brady already had Godwin and Evans at his disposal, right?
Right.
The first Pro Bowl tandem from a singular team First set of teammates to make the Pro Bowl at wide receiver since Anquan Boldin and Larry Fitzgerald for the 2009 Arizona Cardinals, who, by the way, almost won the Super Bowl in the Buccaneers' home stadium on the NBC. Last game that John Madden called for NBC and in his professional broadcasting career with our buddy Al Michaels. Already had those two guys, Godwin and Evans. Now he's got Gronk. They got the 14th overall selection. If there's no receiver, I mean, if there's no lineman left for them to get, or they don't trade up to go get one to protect Brady, what better way to protect Brady than get any of those wide receivers that the Raiders or whoever might be choosing 13th, if it's the Falcons or not, go grab? How about one more weapon for Tom? And this defense last year
was pretty good.
Was number one against the run. And Shaq Barrett's coming back, and Pierre-Paul is there, and they've got an outstanding defensive coordinator in Todd Bowles. This is serious business. I'm having my fun at the top. This is serious football business, man. That NFC South is no joke. Gronk is back, and if he is anything like the Gronk that we last saw, which is making the catch that set up the only touchdown of the last Super Bowl that Brady won with New England, which is the way to put it now. If he's that guy, and there's no reason to think he's not, and by the way, let's start the hot takes of, yeah, I mean, he doesn't look, football shape. See how thin he is? Okay. And you know this thing's been in the works. I mean, we've got Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston at the top of hour number 3. I'm sure he was not surprised. I'm sure Tom was basically saying, that was the old okey doke. Oh, yeah, Antonio Brown is the guy that Tom's insisting on bringing with him.
Right.
87.
I mean, is Gronk going to be moving into a wing of Brady's house?
No. He's moving into Paul O'Neill's house.
Think about it. The challenge to take us to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I've been a season ticket holder for years. I want to win, baby.
Paul O'Neill's
house. Yeah. No, maybe Rivera's house. Does Rivera have a house in Tampa that Gronk can have?
Stop it.
I think they got to move in only into a Yankee home, right? Home owned by a Yankee.
Yeah, stop
a champion Yankee. Bernie Williams have a house down there? Brady and Gronk, come on. On behalf of everybody out there that just could not handle the Patriots winning over and over and over and over. I mean, I could, if you're just talking the AFC East, I could take you to the commercial break by saying over and over. The fact that Brady leaves and you got to see him wearing Tampa Bay's uniform, and Gronk then says, I'll do it. And the narrative you're seeing already is that Gronk couldn't stand Bill, didn't want to come back while Bill was still around there. And whatever Brady couldn't stand about Belichick anymore, Gronk echoes, because as soon as he's gone, he's joining him. Forget about the fact that his body was totally beat up.
Totally.
Right? There's Ross Tucker, whose opinion I respect. The guy he retired from right there is the same guy who could have stood in the way of all this. Right.
Bill said yes to the trade.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we'll take a 4. Right. We'll flip you a 7 and 87. And it's done. He could have easily stood there and say, no, we're not going to do that. I mean, do you know how it would look for us if you guys win together and Tim? No, go do it.
Just remember, the Patriots had a deal in place to trade Gronk before the 2018 draft.
Now, that may have been the reason why he didn't want to come out of retirement last year.
And Gronk said, no, I only want to play with Tom Brady.
He could have his own axe going on there. So. That's grinding. And again, that's what we'll talk to NBC Sports Boston's Tom Curran at the top of our final hour. Gary Vaynerchuk, who is a diehard Jet fan. Now, I might have been giving voice to that.
Okay.
He's coming up in hour number 3, the All-In Challenge that we're hearing so much about. He has been a driving force behind all of that. along with Michael Rubin of Fanatics. Michael Strahan is first up. I can't wait to find out from Stray his thoughts on Gronk coming out of retirement and doing this. We'll stroll down a little bit, maybe of some of Strahan's draft memory lane, and so much more. We had Isaiah Simmons on, by the way, in our first hour that was on Sirius and just youtube.com/Rich Eisen show. What a delightful kid. He will look great in Big Blue, I'll tell you that. And he was just a guy who I think would light up New York City and the New Jersey area. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on this Gronkulus.
By the way, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Thanks for checking in on me yesterday.
What?
Really appreciate that. I'm doing okay. I'm all right. Oh, I must have missed that.
No,
I must have missed those.
Should I text you and say how you're doing?
Hey, how you doing? You all right?
Excuse me.
You holding up okay?
Nobody cares about him.
Thank you. In the grand scheme of things, by the way, I have a wife who feels the same way, and I have children. I texted you the video I took of my 9-year-old Cooper being told about this.
That was great.
And you should know this about my son Cooper, who's got a lot of his mom in him. You should know this about Coop. I said to him, 9 years old, will you now root for the Buccaneers? You know what his answer was?
Yes.
No. He said, no, I will not. It's what he said. He said, maybe they'll be my second favorite team. I mean, I said, after the Jets? And he goes, no. Okay, so
all right, great.
Things in my household are, in your mind, settled business, but he'll take an interest in the Bucs in a way that he never has before, and I bet deep down, you are too.
Get your damn act together.
No,
Thanks,
God,
Mike.
that's what
Appreciate
Jerry Colvin
that.
said to my son, my 9-year-old son, using a Jerry Jones drop against like that. Oh, by the way, we also have 3 new draft home setups that we had folks texted to me from a general manager, coach, and a top flight Hall of Fame evaluator. But Michael Strahan of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and Fox and ABC coming up. Hey, everybody.
I'm glad you're having your fun.
I understand.
Oh, baby.
No, I'm just being dramatic. It's cool. I'm totally good with it.
I have no explanation for what happened.
Like the amount of joy that these guys have given me, like you'll never be able to repay.
Dude,
so it's like,
dude,
and do whatever you want with your life.
And there will be times where because it's NFC, you have no skin in that game.
Exactly. If he would have went to like the Jets or the Bills,
you have no skin in this game.
Then I'd be totally ripped. But like, it's fine. It's the Bucs.
Because they have nothing to do with
They have nothing to do with the Pats. They have nothing to do with the
Right.
Patriots. They don't play the Pats this year. It's whatever.
Although,
Super Bowl.
dude, they could do a serious solid. They play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Brady could do the Patriots a serious solid depending on where that happens in the schedule. And I bet you when the schedule comes out, all of those games will be in the back part of the season. I mean, they're gonna have to backload as usual. Division games.
Yeah.
Right.
But games like Green Bay versus Tampa and Kansas City versus Tampa, they will not put that in the first month of the season just in case that does get lopped off.
Right.
Just in case it is a 12-game season.
Now how many night games do they have?
Every last one of them. The whole country's going to want to see this.
Oh, of course.
Oh, man.
I mean,
I didn't go too hard on you, did I?
No, it's cool, man.
I did give you a heads up that it was coming. I really wanted to explore the
I'm
studio
good.
space on that one.
I had some fun on Twitter with it yesterday. Like it's football. It's a business, man. Like you do what's best for you, no matter what.
Oh, I know.
And fans have to just deal with it. So many of my Pats friends though are like, "Yeah, I'm a low-key Bucs fan this year."
How can you not be?
How can you not be? I still love Tom and Gronk. I want them to succeed.
And when it is all said and done, Kraft will make it all right. They're all going to wear their red Patriot jackets.
Oh, and they'll have statues. Like it's going to be amazing.
Forevermore. If it went, by the way, if it all wound up kumbaya between Favre and the Packers, Favre and the Packers,
of course.
Favre and the Packers, Favre and the Packers are making this look like, a happy marriage. And it took a little while. It took a couple of years. Well, Favre had to play for the Vikings.
Exactly. This is going to be
Favre had to work. He had to work through some stuff.
He had to work through some stuff, yeah.
But Belichick could have easily said no.
I know.
Gronk, stay put, because I'm not going to let you play with Tom.
But I think Belichick has something to prove still. He wants to do it without Tom.
You know what he needs to do? He needed a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, he needed an extra draft.
And let me tell you, they're no slouch.
All right, let's take a break. Our buddy Stray is on the other side here on the Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. I could spend the next 20 minutes going through this man's credits after his football career. He's just a great friend. I love this guy, and I've known him for a very long time, and I'm thrilled to have him here on the Rich Eisen Show, certainly on this day, because he can answer. We're all wondering what was Gronk's reasoning and all that stuff. I forgot about what Gronk was also doing. He was on the set on NFL on Fox, so he can actually pinpoint which member of the NFL on Fox Gronk couldn't stand so much that he went back to play football. His name's Michael Strahan. How are you, Stray?
Hey, I just hope it wasn't me, man.
Oh, I don't think it was.
Hello, fellas.
How are you, Michael?
The news yesterday actually made me happy for Gronk.
Yep.
Really did. Made me happy for him and for Tom and for, all those Tampa fans out there. It's going to be a good, it's going to make this season interesting. But I really think he wanted to go back to play. As a matter of fact, he made a lot of us lose bets at Fox because some of us didn't think he'd make it through the season without going back last year.
Right.
But I think he wants to have fun. I mean, everybody can attest. Most of the guys who play with the Patriots under Belichick, they'll say he's a fantastic coach. We all know he's one of the best coaches. But it's not necessarily fun to play there and fun to play for him. So I think that Gronk just wants to have a little fun with Tom.
I guess in all seriousness, you would know it. You would spot it. Did you get some sense when Gronk was there that, whether it was watching the games or how he was into it or that he actually did miss it or maybe even regret retiring to make it in pretty stronger terms?
Like he was. I didn't feel like when he was around us, like you could say he was regretting retiring. I think he said, hey, I'm retired. I'm going to enjoy this year.
Right.
I think the situation with Tom made it a little bit more interesting and unique for him. So I think that's why he did it. But, no, you never got that sense. I think he gave us everything he had at Fox. He was an absolute joy and pleasure to be around. What you see on the field and off the field, he's the same guy, which you love him. You love this guy, and you root for him. So I know there's no one at Fox who can say a bad word about working with him, and we all are excited to see what he's going to do out there on the field. We're all rooting for him.
No doubt about that. And Stray, I've never asked you this question, so I might as well ask it on live television and radio and stream. Did you ever come close to coming back after retiring? Did you ever get a call?
I did.
What happened?
Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, you know what? I was in Greece, as a matter of fact. I never had taken like a real vacation.
Right.
And after 15 years, I said, money, no object. I'm going on a great vacation. I go to Greece. I'm in Santorini. I get a call from my agent saying the Giants want me to come back. O.C. Urian got hurt. They're going to, pay me a lot more money. And for about 30 minutes, I was ready. And then I looked outside and I said, man, Greece or New Jersey? And I decided Greece kind of won out. So I stayed retired. But the hardest thing is, and Gronk is young. Yeah, I was 36 at the time. And whenever you really start, when it's not in your heart, don't do it. Don't cheat the game. Don't just go out there because they can make money. You see that too often. You got to play with your heart if you want to be a great player. And I just couldn't stand being out there knowing I'm making a nice check and making a nice living, but I'm not giving it everything that I have as I always did. That would have disappointed me more than a success I would have had before one comeback year that may not have been as successful.
Well, Tom, too, Stray. I mean, Brady is quite the draw as well. I mean, I'm wondering, that clearly had a ton to do with it. And these guys, I mean, with Godwin and Evans and Arians with Leftwich dialing it up, this is some serious business right now with the Bucs.
It could be pretty ugly for that. I mean, it's a tough division. You have Matt Ryan. You still have Drew Brees, of course, and we have Bridgewater down in Carolina. So still a tough division. But this definitely, if Tom Brady called just about anybody, it's like Michael Jordan's calling you to say, "Hey, come join the Bulls." What are you going to do? You're going to do it. If he called me, I might get my old self in shape to go back out there right now. So he just got that kind of draw. But I think for Tom, when Tom had the realization, because I've talked to him about it a little bit, when he realized that, you know what, it was time that he didn't realize how good it felt to move on until he knew he was moving on. And I think once that settled in, he was very comfortable with going somewhere else. And one thing we know about him, he's going to do what he wants to do. You only have so long in your life that you can play this game, and a lot of guys don't get a chance to end it the way that they want. He's going to end it the way that he wants, regardless of people's ideas of him retiring or saying he's 41, 40, 42, whatever the heck he is, I forget. He's going to do what he wants to do, and he deserves the right to do that with 6 Super Bowl rings on his fingers.
Well, speaking of, ending it the way you want, I mean, you, Michael Strahan, are, along with Bettis, Elway, Ray Lewis, just it's so rare to end it the way you want. It's so, I mean, we're just seeing it right now with The Last Dance. I don't know if you caught any of that on Sunday night on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing that even Jordan, it couldn't end the way that he wanted, right? So that's part of the reason why I think people are maybe even surprised why Brady didn't retire after a Super Bowl win, and that he's so willing to go trade on a different uniform. You would know that about that as well. Would you have ever come out for a different uniform, or the concept that you retired the way that you did, or as a Giant, was so strong, Michael?
Yeah, I think for me, I would have gone out with the Giants after being there for so long. If I were 7 years in the league, 8 years, that's one thing with one team. But 15 years with one team, I would have been very happy to say, you know what, that was a good run. I am out of here. But everybody's different. I don't judge anybody about how they operate and what they want to do. I mean, Jordan came back and played for the Wizards after baseball. I mean, God, he went to a whole nother sport to get away from it. But I just look and go, somebody has a desire to play and somebody still wants them to play, then God bless them. But for me, the Giants were the only one, and I'm glad I didn't have the opportunity or didn't choose to go somewhere else, because it just worked out great for myself and for my family. And at the end of it, to win a Super Bowl, that's the luckiest thing you can ever do. At least in my case, I felt like it was lucky, because no one expected our team to do much.
Pro Football Hall of Famer, and also from Good Morning America with the great Robin Roberts and the whole rest of the cast on ABC, and also the man who helped me live out the dream of trying to give away cash and prizes on the $100,000 pyramid that he hosts, Michael Strahan, here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Man. Hey, I love watching you run these 40s, man, for St. Jude. You're killing it. You're killing it, man.
Well, I know.
I'm surprised you haven't pulled a hamstring or nothing. I mean, it's really something.
Well, I'm a fine wine, Michael, and my wife, Susie, makes sure that if I'm not training, and she and Dion are the ones that are all over me about training, so that's a very important thing. And you've been...
Well, I love when Prime breaks it down with commentary on your running.
Well, and you're going to be with me and Prime and Kevin Hart at the top of the NFL Draft-a-thon on Thursday night, when that is also to raise funds and awareness for 6 particular charities that are associated with fighting COVID-19 and or providing relief for those under the thumb of this scourge. And I'm wondering what life is like for you. Obviously, we are all who are broadcasting every day. It's not like we're on the front lines of fighting this. But, I mean, just finding the right mix, in a way, of talking about things in this world and day and age, as you're doing on Good Morning America right now, Stray.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a little tough, because you realize that everybody's isolated, everybody's frustrated, people are tired of being home, but at the same time, it's about what's best for everybody. About safety, about protecting yourself and your family and everyone else. So, GMA, for me to go into work every day, at least it breaks it up for me. It breaks up my day, gives me something to look forward to and something to do. But they've done a great job there with a skeleton crew of people, and everybody's got on masks and gloves, and they've been very careful how we'd operated in that building, so it's a comfortable environment. but at least I have a purpose. But I can see just being at home, it would drive you absolutely nuts. This is a good time to reset, I've found. Even for me, having the time to come home, and it gives me time to reset what the priorities are, what's important, how I want my life to be once we are out of this. Maybe there's some things that I do now or some things I've been doing that I don't want to do anymore. I realize they don't make me happy. I want to do things that make me happy and fill my time the way that I want my time to fill, because if there's ever a lesson in all of this, is that time is very precious. It's the one thing in the world that you cannot get more of, and you better savor it and enjoy every bit of it, because you don't know when it all ends. And I just hope people understand that, and they are careful out there. And I know you have some people who are still running the streets and protesting and doing all these things, and everybody has a right to do that. But just because numbers are going down, it doesn't mean that that the disease is done, the virus is over. It just means that people have been staying away from each other and going by what they've been told, which is to quarantine and practice safe practices when it comes to distancing yourself. But if we stop doing those things, we may take a big step backwards. And big story today that in the wintertime, this fall, it may even be worse than what it is now. So we kind of got to guard against those things while we can right now, and hopefully it won't be as bad in the future, and we'll come up with some kind of antidote for this.
Yeah, the head of the CDC saying that if he could see it being even worse next winter because it would coincide with the regular flu season, and that's why again what we can all do maybe now to help avoid all that, and then help those that are most in need right now. We got Gary V on in the last hour. You took part in the All-In Challenge that Michael Rubin and Gary V and others who have put together. You put together a very nice. Well, of course you can put together a nice package here, man.
I don't know how nice it is. It's like kind of like hang out with me all day. I don't. Not necessarily that exciting.
That's not bad. Four VIP tickets to a Good Morning America concert. Again, this is when we all get back to normal. A trip to your man cave for lunch and a ride in your favorite car. What is your man cave?
It's his favorite car, but probably because I have a lot of favorite cars, so it's not even a ride my favorite car. It's a ride whatever you want to ride in.
Okay, I like that.
And multiple rides. It's not just one thing, but yeah.
Okay.
That and what else? Myself and my partner Constance, we have Smack Productions, so we're doing. We always have something we're working on. So give somebody the opportunity to have a role as an extra in one of our upcoming productions. And I've given you clothes before, so I'm going to take somebody, and if a lady bids and she wants to give it to her kid, her man, whoever she wants, we're going to give them the outfit, a collection of suits, custom-made suits from a tailor, and also some MSX, which is the athleisure from my line. And then I'm going to have you come to $100,000 pyramid, 4 more passes. Maybe you'll be on then, and they can come watch you win somebody else a lot of money.
That'd be great. Honestly,
How great would that be?
Michael, I'm telling you, the staff there, because Constance Schwartz and the rest of the staff there at the pyramid, awesome. It was such an amazing day. And then watching you as a game show host is just so much fun. I get pleasure in just seeing that myself. I just seeing the whole, and then just being on that set. And trying to give clues, receive clues is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
But you know what I love, though, Rich, is the fact that you were like, hey, man, I really want to come. I love this show, blah, blah, blah. But you really meant it. And we've had everybody who comes on and plays the game, once they finish that first round, they're like, or their one game or whatever, they want to come back. Because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. We try to keep the atmosphere fun and light.
Great.
And it's been working out for us really well. So hopefully when this whole situation is over, we can film the upcoming season. That's in our plans.
A few more minutes left with Michael Strahan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Obviously, this draft will be unlike any other, one we'll never forget, and one that we hopefully will never repeat. And that goes for the prospects as well. What was your draft night like, Michael, back in the day?
Sitting at my Uncle Ray's house in Houston, Texas, with my family, with a sub sandwich that fed like 12 people, and a few big liters of Coca-Cola, and that was about it. It's not like these guys now, man. It's like so special. They got all the outfits and all this. I'm wearing a pair of sweats, just hoping that I can get a job so I don't have to stay living with my parents, or go back to living with my parents. But it's a big night, and it's sad that these kids won't get to experience that. But the excitement of their careers really begins once they get an opportunity to go to their new team to step on the field. And they can easily make up for this draft day in some way, shape, or form. But at least it's going to happen. Goodell's going to be in his basement, which I'm curious to see what that looks like. And, what does Roger Goodell's basement look like?
Well, he says it's where he watches games when he's not out on the road. That's where he's going to be. Also, apparently, it's right adjacent to the laundry room, to the Goodell laundry room. So he may be putting in a load or two while he's in between making picks.
Yeah, I expect to see like a old 20-inch tube TV, black and white, with some rabbit ears on it, and one of the kids has to hold the antenna so the signal comes through clearly.
Right.
And then he goes, put it on this game, and the kid has to change the channel with his hand, flipping the switches.
Well, I just want to make, I'm falling into this trap too, Michael, because you'll see when you come on the NFL Draft-a-thon with me and Dion and Kevin Hart and Brady, by the way. It's going to be amazing. On Thursday night, you'll see I fall into the trappings of on-air sports person from home office with books that I haven't read in years right behind me on the shelf to make me look well-read. That I've got that going on, and I'm wondering if Roger might have that too. I don't know.
So you know what? I have a lot of books in the background that have not been read. Maybe I should just do it in front of the bar with a lot of tequila that I probably have.
Yeah, hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere when we're on that night, no doubt about it. So did Dan Reeves call you at home? Is that what happened in '93?
George Young called me at home.
God. Oh man.
And I talked to Dan Reeves as well. And when I got drafted, I was like, why New York? I had all the scouts. They would come to Texas Southern University. They would work me out. And then Jeremiah Davis, who was a scout for he would come in and just scout TSU specifically, and he would put me through all these drills. And he was the only scout that put me through all these drills of all these scouts who would not feed me afterwards, wouldn't buy me a burger. But he would work me to death.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, these cheap old Giants, I don't want to go there. They're not going to draft me. And Earl Leggett, who's a rest in peace, I love him. Without Earl, I would not have had a football career that I had. And Earl, he came one time, sat in the back, never said anything to me really. So I never thought the Giants were really interested. And then when they drafted me, I thought they got LT. They don't need me. What am I going to do up there? Plus, it's cold. And but it was the perfect fit, perfect coach, perfect organization, and with the patience, perfect win to end my career.
What did LT? How did he welcome you as a rookie?
He didn't. So you know what? I love Large, man. LT was fantastic. He was one of these. He didn't have to say anything. Like when he walked in, he glided in. He didn't have to move his legs. It was weird. He was just such an icon. But he worked hard. That's one thing I think people never realize. This guy in practice, when he did show up for practice, he went all out. Keyword, when he did show up for practice, he went all out. But he was fun to learn from because he didn't pick on you. He wasn't, a lot of guys took pride in picking on you and messing with you. He was a grown man with a life. So he only talked to you and messed with you if he had to. Other than that, he wanted to include you in things, and they would have parties, and he said, you got to come. This is mandatory.
Uh-oh.
Tell your wife you got to be there. And, a lot of fun for a rookie, a lot of eye-opening moments.
That's funny. How did he welcome you? And you said he didn't. That says it all, quite honestly, Michael. That says it all.
But he would give you the shirt off his back. I will tell you that. Rookie or not, he would. Once you made that team, he would do anything for you. And to this day, I have all the respect in the world, man. He is the defensive GOAT, in my opinion, of the NFL.
Straight, really appreciate the time, man. I will speak with you in the Draft-a-thon room Thursday night. In the meantime, check Michael Strahan out. Good Morning America, Fox Football Now, part of a rotating cast. Check out MSXbyMichaelStrahan.com, and, of course, try and bid and get that All-In Challenge to hang with Stray when we're all through on the other side of this. Love you, man. You take care.
I love you too, brother. I'll see you on the Thursday.
You got it. That's Michael Strahan right here on the Rich Eisen Show. At Michael Strahan, Twitter, Instagram, the whole schmear. How about that? That was great. How did LT welcome you? He didn't.
He didn't.
LT.
Not surprising.
844-204-RICH. We will take your phone calls next here on the Rich Eisen Show. Also, I asked a coach, a GM, and also a guy at the top of the flow chart.
Oh, owner?
Of one of the National Football League teams for their home draft room situation. Take a picture and send it. That's next on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay. So now we'll use this moment right here on Sirius XM 211 and YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show to game out our next segment here. So, Don, you're the one who's got to show all these things up on the screen. Do we want to run through the Andy Reid, the old ones, the Gettleman? Do we want to do all that and then show the new ones that we got yesterday from Les Snead? Let's show the old ones.
And then show the ones from yesterday.
Which was Les Snead. He sent us to Thomas Dimitroff, who has since seen our reveal of his draft situation and took offense to the way that we talked about it.
Oh. Interesting.
All right.
Okay.
And then John Schneider, beautifully appointed draft setup. Beautifully appointed. And then I got 3 new ones. Let me get one of these guys information.
Do we have, can we get a hint on...
yeah, give us a hint,
like
Rich.
division.
Well, one is the new toughest division in football.
Okay.
Oh,
and then 2 are from the... and another one is won a Super Bowl as an evaluator.
Okay.
And also something else.
Oh.
And one of them may or may not be Mike Mayock, who may or may not have played along with this thing.
Oh, we want Mayock's. Mayock and Belichick.
Did you text Bill?
And Gruden.
I'm not going to answer these questions right now. I'm not going to.
I'm saying you're a hostile witness right now, Rich. I'm not hostile. Yeah,
I'm not hostile.
Permission to treat the witness as hostile.
Hostile.
Why am I hostile?
He's like, no, he's not like, you can just give us
we're going to hold you in contempt. You're refusing to answer the question.
Oh, I have contempt of you.
Obviously.
I find you contemptible.
Of course.
Every day.
Thank you.
And most importantly, you shamelessly putting your Instagram and Twitter feed out there. Look at that. That's
shamelessly
one.
Says the guy who's got his name all over the studio.
I mean,
it's
not like...
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
What do you mean? Like a mug, a screen, and a mic flag?
You know what? Go run another 40 in your suit.
Thanks, Scott.
We'll get it back, Brock.
Stickers on the laptop.
By the way, that was when Zolak was pissed at me because they thought I was tweeting about Brady. Remember, that was there goes Brady running off.
Right.
On his first
not doing the NFL.
Not doing the, I know.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. That's from way back in the day. We're back in a second here on the Rich Eisen Show.
We're off.
844-204-RICH, number to dial. I think Michael Strahan just gave us a new fun game to play. You know.
What's that?
Greece or New Jersey. Where he said he was retired. He went to Santorini.
That is not right.
He's in Santorini. He gets a call from the Giants saying, OCU Manuro's down. We need you to not retire. We need you back. He thought about it for 30 minutes, and he weighed, Greece?
Pros and cons?
Or New Jersey?
Meaning
if he was looking out the window in Paramus, he might have come back. Unfortunately, he's just looking out the window.
Come on.
He's looking out the window, and he's not seeing exit 16W. He's seeing the Santorini sunset.
You got better pizza in Greece or New Jersey?
Greece or New Jersey? That's New Jersey.
Jersey's got the pizza.
That was funny.
That was good.
That was funny. Let's head to the phone lines. Before again, we're loving these photographs that are being put out there by teams of their general managers and coaches of their home draft settings. And now we're just saying we're not waiting for teams to put them out. We're asking them to send it to us here at the Rich Eisen Show. I've got 3 new ones before we get to that. Let's go to the phone lines. First in, first up. We're going right to New England here, baby. Blair in Maine, Brockman's home state of Maine.
207, represent.
What's up, 207, Blair?
Represent in the hood, baby.
What hood, Portland?
Gronk came out of wrestling from WWE. He threw a couple tables down and said, "Forget you, Bill Belichick." And, I don't know what to say about you, Gronk. That's one rough thing to do, right to Bill Belichick and the head of the Patriots. You know who I mean?
Robert Kraft. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
that's wrong of you to do, Gronk. You should have stayed in wrestling and never got out of retirement and out of wrestling. I thought you were the greatest in wrestling. And then that's what you do to the Patriot fans. How dare you do that, Gronk? Shame on you.
Blair in Maine, everybody. Blair in Maine. Blair in Maine. Thanks for calling in the Rich Eisen Show. We give him a standing ovation for that
I would
soliloquy.
say Blair does not represent the opinion of most people.
Let's go to Boston. I mean, this is straight butter, to use the Stuart Scott phrase. Let's go to Mark in Boston. What's up, Mark?
I'm loving it.
You are?
Loving it.
You are?
Yeah. Listen, I'm season ticket holder for over 25 years. Chris, condolences. Believe me, I'm with you.
Mark, for you, buddy.
But what are you going to do? This is a business now. You know what I mean? So, onward and upward. Let's go. Let's get the Tampa Bay shirts going. Sun's out, guns out. Let's do it.
So, if it comes down to New England or
creamsicle, I'm in. I'm all the way in.
give us creamsicle, says Mark
Let's
in
go.
Boston.
I want the shirt, the hat. I want everything.
Thank you very much, Mark in Boston. Was that, by the way? Were there other people in there screaming in the background?
It sounds like they're having a party.
I think they're doing a live read of Good Will Hunting when they're calling in the Rich Eisen Show right there. How about them apples? Gronk is a Buck.
Yeah, Mark gets it. It's a business.
Kevin
Let
in
Gronk do what he
Massachusetts.
wants.
Let's sneak one more in. This is just great.
How you doing, Rich?
What's going on?
Not much. I've been a fan since Muncie Tutupu was a fullback.
That's
So
that's
I just
hardcore.
wanna Throw that in there. And another
Hardcore.
thing, up here it's peanut butter and fluff, not peanut butter and jelly.
My bad.
But no one's talking about how the Buccaneers defense last year had to deal with 30 interceptions thrown by their quarterback, which means they're not going to deal with that this year. Their defense is going to be so much better just from that fact.
That's correct.
That they're going to win. They lost so many games by one possession. So they're going to win the division, I'm sure of it.
Well, okay. Thanks very much. Let's check on the poll question where it currently stands right now, Chris Brockman. At Rich Eisen Show, if you care to vote on this poll question. What do you have on
Yeah,
it?
we're just going for it. How did the Bucs finish in 2020? 10% make the Super Bowl. 11% reach the NFC Championship. 35% win the NFC South. 44% think the Bucs miss the playoffs.
That's crazy talk.
That's crazy.
They're not missing the playoffs.
Nope.
Is that just Brady Gronk hate on the missing playoffs vote? Like,
That
totally
is
happens.
not going to happen.
Not a chance.
That ain't happening.
By the way, I bet $1,000 on that 10-1. That's what I'm doing. I'm making
You're
it.
doing it?
By the way,
100%.
That's
you don't know
crazy.
what we're talking
That's
about.
crazy
I don't know what you're
talk.
talking about.
That's
I really-
crazy talk.
You're-
Nope. I'm doing it.
Your gambling terms confuse me.
Yep.
I become the
Brockman knows.
unfrozen caveman lawyer when those things happen. Over, under, I don't understand what you're talking about unless it's about something up here as opposed to something down there. I don't understand. Why do we love the photographs of the coaching and general manager home draft setups? Why? I just think because it makes them like us. That we're
Yeah,
like
because
them.
I think we all have our own, quote unquote man caves and the way we watch games and have our setups with the multiple screens.
Sure.
So now that they're being forced to do it,
right?
We're curious, like,
What does it look like?
What does
Where
it
are
look
you
like?
gonna be?
How is it set up? Do you have any monitors? What's the TV, the phone situation, and the outlets, and the drinks, and the binders?
Is your computer table shoved up against these two red doors in a basement where the strings on your window blinds are so long that they hang down? For instance, right there. There's Big Red with a red couch and a red door. That's just a whole red setup right there for the Chiefs Super Bowl winning head coach. Red door, red couch, red binder.
Auxiliary
Big
table.
Red. There you go. You saw that? That's a
That is an aux
Peter
table.
King put that one out.
Auxiliary table, yeah.
Then we just saw one after another, after another. One after another, after another. And we got 3 in yesterday. Do you want to get to those? Let's do those, Don. We got 3 in yesterday. Okay, let's go first up. We got
We got our buddy Les Snead in Los Angeles, California. He's in a bunk room. And I asked Les, let's get it in here. So Les Snead's in his bunk room, and through these double doors, there's like a pool situation.
Take a quick dip in between.
It looks absolutely beautiful with Les Snead out there. There
Look
it
at
is.
that. Look at that.
That is a setup.
And he doesn't have a first-round pick, so go take a dip. Go
Just
cannonball.
relax.
Cannonball.
Catch some rays.
Right. There you go.
Make sure you sunscreen.
Oh, and look at the new Ram setup right there. John Schneider. I asked it, let's stay in the same division, right? NFC West. John Schneider, beautifully appointed draft setup. Look at that.
Those chairs.
He has commandeered what looks like to be a dining situation. Very beautiful. Shoes off. Definitely. Look at that
Shoes
carpet.
off. No
That's the
shoes
draft
on the
board
carpet.
that he's got right there. So he's using an old grease board. That's old school right there. Then Thomas Dimitrov. You want to talk about finally appointed. We thought this would be the most finally appointed. And then he took an issue because we joked about the throw pillow.
That was
yes,
on the
we did.
Caesar couch, I called it.
He was buttering us up.
He gave us 2 angles.
By putting my face on it, like saying that he was trying to get a speed burner.
Right.
Do you have the other photograph there, Don, that you could call up for a second? It's the other
Reverse
angle that
angle.
he took issue with, saying that we called it a throw pillow on his blue man
there it
couch
is.
right
What?
there.
I mean, there it is. That's a throw pillow.
He wrote this. He texted this to me this morning. He texted me this morning when he called during the YouTube stream. Thanks for watching, Thomas. Can you tell your fan base I vehemently disagree with your assessment of my pillow situation as a throw pillow? He wrote, I'll tell you, he worked blue. It's an effing back support pillow for a really deep throne-like seating arrangement.
Well, that is like a Caesar couch right there.
That's like Napoleon's.
I mean, my God.
throne.
Like somebody should feed him grapes when he's on the clock. Right?
Right. That's good.
All right. So now I decided let's reach out.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, not wait.
Let's reach out. I reached out to 3 more.
Cannot wait.
Reached out to 3 more. This is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
All
sir.
right.
Oh, yes.
Sean Payton
Now we're
sent
talking.
me this one
Look at
yesterday.
that.
There you
Oh,
go.
and
Look
dogs.
at Sean Payton's setup right there.
Wins with the dogs.
He even has the circle light in the corner
I
for
said,
TV hits.
who are the dogs?
He does.
Who are the dogs? And he said, my underdog picks. That's Murph, the brown dog, and Fran, black and white. There you go. That's a 2-dog situation. Look at the IT setup in the
The little
corner.
helmet
right there.
underneath the TV.
He's got that helmet right there.
Oh.
Look at that. No, the stand, it looks like an
That's
is
a
that a
circle
thaw?
light.
Is that what is
It's a circle
He's
light
got a
for,
light with a little
for TV
phone.
hits.
Yeah.
Oh, TV hits?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does he have? 3 screens and a couple
There
of
you go.
computers?
That's Sean Payton setup.
Impressive.
He's got, by the way, and he has the dog's pose and everything.
It's
I
perfect.
appreciate
Well
that.
done.
Sean Payton, well done.
Well done, Sean
Yeah.
Payton.
All right, let's go. Let's go. I asked the Pro Football Hall of Famer himself, the president of football operations of your Denver Broncos. That's John Elway's setup.
Wow.
Okay.
That is
That looks-
John Elway's beautiful setup.
That looks
look at
like
all those
his,
screens.
3,
Look at the
4,
desk. Look
5.
at the chair.
First off, that looks like his attic, right? Or the 3rd floor or the top floor of his house.
He
Yeah, with
said,
the roof.
did it in my family room because it gave me a lot of room. Us old guys don't have to worry about kids running around.
7 screens and then looks like 2 more in the
But
foreground.
look at the
Wow.
now is it a vase situation or a vase situation? Look on the top there.
It's a vase
Vase.
That's some
situation.
that looks like
A
some
vase
serious
situation.
pottery up the top right there.
You want to text him back about
Now
the
then,
pottery?
Uh-oh.
you requested Mike Mayock.
We did.
We did.
I texted Mike Mayock, and I texted Mike. I said the following to Mike. I'm like, hey, look, many are probably texting you for information, but that's not me. What's me is I'm asking everybody for their home draft setup. Would you mind taking a photograph of it? And I got from Mayock this photograph. I got this from Mike Mayock pointing out that is the city of San Francisco across the water.
Okay.
SF in background, my draft room. I said, not your view from your draft room, your actual setup. You crack me up, man.
Etc.
To which he then responds, I know what you meant.
Love Mayock.
Dot.
So not even going to play along?
Oh.
That's how Mayock played along.
We want Belichick.
That was the end. By the way, you say you want Belichick.
Did you text Bill?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
No way.
You had Rich.
This is why I don't listen to you two schmohawks.
Good use of the word
with all due
schmo.
respect. I forgot. I should with all due respect
Should've
before.
on the front end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If I had listened to you and texted
In the
Bill
middle of
Belichick this request, it would have happened right in the middle of him finishing the trade for Gronk. What? If you want to talk about the worst possible time for me to have followed your advice, that would have to be it.
Counterpoint.
Yep.
You would have caught Bill in a good mood. Yeah. Because he got a 4th-round pick for nothing.
For nothing. He's
for
right.
nothing.
Okay, so
good mood, Belichick.
Hey, look, everybody, I know we're all crossing T's and dotting I and sending Gronk to Brady in Tampa, but would you guys mind moving that situation out? Because I got to take a picture for the Rich Eisen show and their associated social media platforms. Great idea, guys. I mean, could I have flushed all of the credibility down the toilet at that moment?
Because here's what happened.
You underestimate Bill's sense of humor for things like this.
When he wins the Emmy, you hand him the Emmy, all things are forgiven.
At the same time, I think I accurately assessed Mike Mayock's sense of humor.
I mean,
he took a picture out of his window.
I knew what you meant.
I knew what you meant.
That is.
Guys.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Right?
Mayock.
Right?
I will be undaunted. I will text him again. Dolphins news on the other side of this break. Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston to give us his thoughts on Gronk, how long that caper's been cultivated. And Gary Vaynerchuk and you, final hour. Play game with Chris Brockman and Mike Del Tufo over there.
Okay.
Where I will read out the facts. They will guess whether it's true meta or false meta, and then you will confirm.
Okay, let's do it.
Here we go.
The Rich Eisen Show presents Real Meta.
Our test, that's a 3.
Or Fake Meta.
I wore number 37 for the Lakers because Michael Jackson's album Thriller was #1 on the Billboard charts for 37 consecutive weeks. True meta or fake? No way.
No way.
Is it fake meta?
That is 100% true.
That's true. That's true.
I knew it was 37 weeks, but I wouldn't guess.
All right, next one. Right before his comeback with the Wizards, I broke 2 of Michael Jordan's ribs in a pickup game and delayed his comeback by 3 months. I was so upset about it, I didn't leave my house for days. True meta or fake meta?
I think that's true.
I'm saying true.
That's true. That's true. I love Michael Jordan. Probably my favorite player.
You broke his ribs?
It was on accident. It was a summertime pickup game, and it was an intense game.
In 2010, an art show honoring me was held in Toronto, Canada, entitled Lovable Badass.
False.
True.
That's true.
Damn, we have a tie! All right, last one. In 2010, I was cited for driving a race car with an expired registration down a city street. True meta or fake meta?
Based on his reaction, I'm going to say true.
I got to go true, too.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. It was an Indy 500 car. It was fun. You know, you're young
How did
and
you
dumb.
fit in that thing?
I didn't really fit. I was real like this and hitting the gas with my one little pinky toe. It was tough.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
You mind if I call you all Grover?
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Rob, it's Tom. How you been?
Hey, Tom. Good, man.
Would you think of coming back and playing with me?
Call me when you get to Tampa Bay.
Earlier on the show, Bleacher Report NFL draft analyst Matt Miller, Clemson linebacker Isaiah Simmons, Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Strahan. Coming up from NBC Sports Boston, Tom Curran, CEO of VaynerMedia, Gary Vaynerchuk. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Final hour of the Rich Eisen Show here on this day before the 2020 National Football League Draft. We've already had Matt Miller of Bleacher Report, Isaiah Simmons, who could be a top 5 pick in this year's draft, and Michael Strahan on the show. Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston is about to join us about the top story news from today, from yesterday, that Rob Gronkowski is coming out of retirement. He is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and he's going to play with Tom Brady. Keep that going. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, the entrepreneur, the CEO, the man, along with Michael Rubin and others behind the All-In Challenge, trying to raise money to keep people from going hungry during this pandemic. He will be joining us in the middle of this hour. There is news about what the Miami Dolphins could be up to tomorrow night. We'll put a pin in that for a second, because I do want to get to my friend from NBC Sports Boston to make heads or tails about what happened yesterday with Rob Gronkowski now joining Tom Brady in Tampa, Florida. His name's Tom Curran. How are you, Tom?
I am great. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I guess Ed Gronkowski, who's not walking through that door now, huh? Ed Gronk?
Where would we be without the Patriots during this ceasing of activity, whether it's Gronk or Brady or draft conversations,
right?
Or, I mean, it's fascinating. And they have been providing us so much content for 20 years. What are we going to do, Rich? What are we going to do?
I know, and it's been amazing, and the run will be just as fascinating in the now post-Brady and Gronk era. How long has this caper been cultivated? Was this always in the offing whenever Brady was going to sign somewhere? Tom, what are you hearing?
That's a great question. And I feel that there was a dream team scenario that Brady was trying to hatch. I don't think that Brady advised Gronk, as folks, in my office and on social media had wondered, to sit out last year. I think Gronk was really spent mentally, needed the year off, needed to figure out what he wanted to do, and Brady backed off of that. But I believe that when Tom realized, okay, I'm not coming back here, Gronk, keep it in the back pocket. When I go someplace, let's see if we can get you there. I don't know if that was a prerequisite for him signing anywhere. For instance, if he went to San Francisco and George Kittle was there, were they going to get Gronk for $10 million? I doubt it. But landing in Tampa opened up the door. Rich, I was caught completely flat-footed. I did not see this in the offing. I think this was a stealth move by Gronkowski. And what's fascinating to me is that Gronkowski kind of out-Belichicked Bill Belichick on this.
What do you mean?
In so many different ways.
What do you mean by that?
He went on Wildcat strike for a year. After Bill Belichick said he was going to trade him in 2018 to the Detroit Lions, and Gronk said, I'm not going to the Detroit Lions. I'll retire first. Belichick had to reluctantly keep him. Gronk sticks around, makes his money, wasn't happy all season long, got another ring, retired. But he didn't retire officially until after the Patriots were kind of hosed in free agency last year. So after that, he retires. Patriots are out of luck on Jared Cook. They go through the season. They miss the hell out of Gronk. Then Gronk, this offseason, waits until the Patriots are in a situation where they have no cap room and says, you know what? I'm coming back. How's that? But you can't afford me, and you have to trade me, and the only place you can trade me is Tampa Bay because I'm not going to go anyplace else. So I think in so many ways, you will think of the Mankinses and the Seymours and the Vrabels and the Deion Branches and the Randy Mosses and even the Jamie Collins who got bundled up and shipped someplace they didn't want to go. And Belichick tried to do with Gronk to Detroit. And Gronk didn't let that happen. He orchestrated something on his own. You with me still? This is cuckoo.
I'm with you here, Tom. And here I was in the previous hours of this program saying Belichick could have stood in the way of this and said, we're not trading you. But you're saying that Gronk forced the situation by saying, I'm unretiring and made New England
trade him away? Otherwise, what? Calling his bluff would have been like, we'll just cut somebody and we'll get you on the roster? They could have done something like that, right?
Yeah, they would have had to cut $10 million worth of salary. I mean, Gronk, they're up against the cap as it is. They have no room. So Gronk says, okay, I'm coming back. Oh, okay, well, we're not going to trade you. You're our property. Okay, why don't you start cutting people? Trading Joe Tooney or something like that at a cut rate to get him in. And then maybe in 3 weeks, Gronk says, you know what, actually, change of heart. I'm going to retire again. Sorry. I mean, he could have played it out that way. And given the way Gronkowski and his family have understood that they are a collection of independent contractors brought together as a team, fighting over a finite amount of money on every one of these 32 franchises with the salary cap. I think that the business savvy of the Gronkowskis really oiled the gears to have this happen. It's genius. It's kind of crappy if you're a football fan, but Gronk Inc. and the Gronk Corporation got what the Gronk Corporation wanted.
Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston here on the Rich Eisen Show. This is a fascinating conversation. Is there anybody else to get the band back together? I'm serious. Is there anybody else that's out there that Brady's looking around and trying to get his own guys in there that Tampa, I'm sure, would say we can figure this thing out because Tom makes Tom comfortable and they all want to win. It's clearly the hot spot that everybody wants to get in on if there's any more seats left on this ship before it sets sail. Anybody else out there?
The only two guys you could think of would be Amendola and Edelman. Amendola's spoken for, and Edelman's under contract. Edelman is so loyal to Belichick anyway. I couldn't imagine him saying trade me ever. It just would not be in his nature, despite his relationship. So, really, who else? I mean, that's about it. Unless they want to get Danny Woodhead back, I don't know. They liked him.
Hey, man, I don't know. Get the whole gang back. It sounds like the Blues Brothers, on a mission.
I mean, I've seen Randy. Randy looks okay. But, no, I think they're pretty well equipped. What this does, Rich, for Tampa Bay, though, is it gives them a quick cheat code for Brady to feel comfortable in Tampa with a player he's so familiar with. Because if COVID wipes out the offseason and the season begins and he hasn't spent time with Evans and Godwin, he has spent so much time with Gronkowski, and Brady talks about this. I can tell Gronk running full speed downfield by the dip of his shoulder or the lean of his head what he's about to do. And as a result, you're never going to get that with Godwin and Evans. Certainly not before this year, maybe ever in 2 years or 3 or 4, however many it is. But he's just done something with Gronkowski. And when you look at Gronk, what do you think he has left? I think he's going to have plenty. What's your estimation?
Me? The guy's, what is he, 30, 31? I mean, it's, yeah.
31.
And he's got a year off, and he'll put the weight back on, and my God, yeah. This is, what a godsend. I mean, Gronk could technically stay longer if after Brady leaves if he really likes it and he misses football. And I think him and Arians are going to be just dynamite. I mean, seeing Gronk without the worrying over his shoulder what somebody might think of what he says in the media? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be amazing.
The NFL is a better place with Rob Gronkowski in it in terms of being able to cover it and enjoy it.
Fact.
Just is. To me, it's fascinating. The interpersonal aspects of it to me are going to be fascinating because when you look at Richard Seymour or Mike Vrabel, those are guys who are really pissed. Mankins, too. They kind of have buried the hatchet with Belichick. And, I think a player like Moss looks at it now and says, yeah, I could have done it differently. But those other guys were pissed. They've all buried the hatchet. Will Belichick be willing to bury a hatchet with Gronkowski after, again, I'm writing about this because I'm just putting it together. I'm like, holy crap. Belichick must be bullshit crap. About this.
Really? No kidding.
I mean, deep down, when you think about it, this stink. Just took a year off. He didn't tell us until, 2 weeks into free agency he wasn't coming. Blew our chance to get Jared Cook. Because Jared Cook was like, hey, what are you doing? What's Gronk doing? And this is last spring. He's like, I don't want to come up there and be 1A, 1B with Gronk. I can go to New Orleans and be there 1A. And that was a deciding factor. And then Gronk a week later goes, "Nah, I'm out." So they didn't have a tight end at all last year. So it's fascinating.
And of course, that helped lead to Brady's departure when he was maybe chafing under whatever was going on there. And this is why we have you on, Tom. Boots on the ground here from NBC Sports Boston. Tom Curran, before I let you go, night before the draft, what are you hearing about the Patriots' first-round intentions and perhaps trading down, adding someone to the quarterback room, all of that? Tom, I give you the floor.
I think a trade down makes the most sense. They have a huge hole because they have no second-round pick. And this is such a deep draft that they have an opportunity to get back from that 23 spot and still get multiple good players, perhaps in the second round. And into the third, they have 3 picks. So they have some mobility, but everybody's trying to trade down. If they stay put, Rich, they have so many places they need help. You know, you could go on the offensive line if Joe Tooney is going to go elsewhere, and you can get a tackle and you can kick Isaiah Wynn inside on your left side, and you have 2 guys there. They obviously could go back to the well at wide receiver. Denzel Mims, my friend Phil Perry, who's done an unbelievable job for us on the draft, is there. So is Pittman is sitting there as well. Those are two players you could look at. Edge players, they've said goodbye to Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, Kyle Van Noy, and really only have Chase Winovich to try and bring pressure to make the secondary that is aging, especially at the safety position, really as effective as it should be. So there are places all over this roster for the Patriots to improve, but I would probably put my money cautiously on a trade down.
Okay. Thanks for the call. And it's still Stidham, right? It's still Stidham. It's going to be his ball first week of the season.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Personally, I wouldn't be stunned if Jalen Hurts wasn't a second-round pick of theirs. I personally like the kid Anthony Gordon from the Mike Leach system, just whipping it all over the lot, kind of the way Jimmy Garoppolo came into the NFL. Same level and style of play. So those are 2 quarterbacks who I dumbly take it for what it's worth. I'm about a C-grade draft expert over here. I'd say Hurts and Anthony Gordon would be smart.
And if Tua drops, your column today says don't take that cheese. That's what you're saying, huh, Tom?
I think it's a horrendous idea, especially in the first round. It's a luxury item. The Patriots have drafted poorly for 5 years. It's a luxury item because you don't know what you have, and there's just so many question marks around him. Beyond the hip, beyond the size, he's been playing with the 33rd NFL team for the last 4 years. So how's he going to look on a team that just lost Dante Scarnecchia and might lose Joe Tooney and every other? Tom Brady didn't look good in 2019 behind that offensive line. Tua's going to – it would not be great.
Tom, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it and all the information. You be well. We'll chat on the other side of this draft. How does that sound?
Hope everything's great with you. I'll talk
Same
to you
as.
soon.
Right back at you. That's Tom Curran, at Tom E. Curran on Twitter. So here I am last hour, and all of us first hour too saying, hey, Belichick could have just said no. I'm not letting you walk to Tampa. I'm not letting you walk to Tampa. And hey, he was smart to at least get a 4th-round pick out of it he didn't have. And now here comes Tom Curran saying Gronk had them right where he wanted them, between a rock and a hard place, capped out right before the draft. He says, I'm unretiring. I get $10 million. They can't afford it. He knows they can't afford it. He knows they've got to get him off the books. Where can they possibly send him to? The only spot he would demand to go to. Wow. And you wanted me to text Bill Belichick, please take a picture of your home draft.
Well, that was
just
before,
at that moment.
That was before I knew all of that
Yeah.
information that Tom just said.
That's why I don't listen to you people. Could you imagine right in the middle of all that, he's steaming? To the point where he's wondering, Tom Curran's wondering if they'll ever bury the hatchet after all this? Because part of the issue of last year's offense, as we all know, wide receivers completely out of the mix, that tight end spot was a Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
And they believe in New England that Gronk's behavior led to the fact that they couldn't fill that role, and that was such a major source of irritation for everybody involved. And now they're back together in Tampa.
Can't wait for that Last Dance Patriots in 20 years.
Jeez, right?
And speaking of which, before we take a break and we'll get to Gary Vaynerchuk, what did Ian Rappaport tweet out at the top of our hour break about what the Dolphins' intentions are for tomorrow night?
Yeah, so Ian had this from his sources. The Dolphins have called the teams in front of them for a possible trade up from 5, gauging the price to go to number 3 to possibly take, wait for it, an offensive tackle.
Oh, my word.
Ian says we could see a run on tackles in the top 10 like never before.
If the Dolphins do this, I would need to see a camera on, a Dolphin fan. There's going to be no draft party for good reason, unless that was ruled an essential business that I'm unaware of.
It's Florida.
The state of
Never
Florida.
know.
So, do you remember they drafted Ted Ginn instead of Brady Quinn and what that reaction was like? That will be a cakewalk. If everything that went down last year and the supposition that has been so public, right, that if they move up and don't take Tua or a quarterback, but instead get a protection for whomever, Ryan Fitzpatrick, or kicking the quarterback can down the road. I can't wait to be on the draft-a-thon with Dion at that point. Or this is the most remarkable smokescreen that's ever, the Kaiser Soze of smokescreens.
I wrote that down yesterday.
That if they move up and try not to pay as much because, no, we're not moving for the quarterback, we're moving for the tackle. Oh, my gosh. And get it out there. They're not interested in Tua. Now they're not interested in a quarterback. They are interested in trading up, but for not what you think. Wow. Can't wait for that drama to play out tomorrow night. Just cannot wait. When we come back, our buddy Gary Vaynerchuk will join us, the CEO and co-founder of VaynerMedia, and so much more, and one of the men behind the All-In campaign that is doing such good in this world. We'll chat with Gary V live when we come back. Thank God I don't listen to you people.
I mean,
I think
go ahead and
that's
text
a
Bill
little
Belichick.
heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I'm asking you to do that to Belichick,
we didn't know.
Nobody has a friggin' clue that the Gronk trade is going down in the hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so
well,
that's a little harsh on your end.
But one can assume that Belichick is involved pre-draft with something significant enough.
Well, all the guys you're asking
that a request that is somewhat off the wall.
But I don't want to give Mike too much credit really ever, but that's a great point.
Yeah,
all of these
all of them
people
are.
that you're texting
Yeah.
it's 48 hours to draft time.
Exactly.
They're all involved in something.
All right. I'll text him later.
It's not an unreasonable
It's not.
request
It
for me
isn't.
to say, hey, text Belichick
Yeah.
when all you've done since last
Excuse me.
summer
Excuse me.
is
That's unfair.
talk about how
Yeah,
this
BFF.
amazing
Nope.
text relationship
I
you
don't.
now have
That
with
is a
BB.
Gross
He's our best.
mischaracterization.
Absolutely
A
not.
gross,
Going out
Definitely
fishing with
not.
him.
gross mischaracterization. Gross.
He's my friend.
It's gross.
I
We're
see
now
what you're doing
text
right now is-
buddies.
what you're now doing
He's
right
an
now-
emoji guy.
What you're doing
like,
right
how
now-
would you know
No,
that?
I got the license plate
You are
rings for my
now
car.
Grossly mischaracterizing this to fight back in the fact that I have said that you are totally unreliable to follow in situations like this. So you're parrying
Not true.
back at me right now
Absolutely
by
not.
grossly mischaracterizing how I came back from the NFL 100 all time.
I would Brock
There's so many
there.
cameras in here.
Wrong.
There has to be some
Seriously.
footage of this.
Wrong.
Oh,
It
he's my
is.
best
And
friend.
I will be able to,
gosh.
no.
Took
I
that
will be able
nice
to put my head
picture
on the
of him with
pillow. I will be able to put
He
my head on the pillow.
invited
tonight.
me to Nantucket
We
with
can go
Linda.
fishing.
No.
Like, The things
No,
that
no,
you
no,
were
no.
saying after you came
Excuse me,
back.
you know we go to Nantucket on our own, okay? He didn't invite me. That's ridiculous. False. All of what you're saying is wrong.
I have my own personal seat on 8 rings.
And grossly mischaracterizing what's happening.
Instagram that beautiful picture of Bill looking at all the bus.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, it's my friend.
Bill
What
asked
a
you.
great-
Bill was like, "Hey, Rich, I'm gonna pose in front of this. Can you take a picture for
Oh,
me?
wow.
I want to have it for my
this is
collection."
getting out of hand.
Like the things that you said when
This
you
is getting
came
out of
back
hand.
was just so me saying, "Hey, text
getting out of
Bill,"
hand.
was like, I was doing you a favor
All
by
of this
just
is-
tossing that out there.
All of this is false, innuendo, And I got to be honest with you, offensive.
Let's get them all. Let's hit them all now while we got the muscle.
Okay, Frank Pantangeli. Okay.
We have been hoodwinked,
Yeah.
bamboozled,
Yep,
led
it.
astray,
All of
run
it.
amok,
Exactly.
and flat out deceived.
Thank you. We're going to cleanse the palate with Gary Vaynerchuk when we come back here on The Rich Eisen Show. If you missed any of this show, you can get all 3 hours of The Rich Eisen Show anytime on our podcast, which is available on Podcast One. Listen and please subscribe. We always appreciate that. Podcast1.com/Rich Eisen is how you can get our podcast. You can also take us into youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show every single day, Sirius XM Channel 211, and of course right here on NBC SN from 1 to 3 Eastern every single day. I'm pleased to be joined right now by the chairman of VaynerMedia, also CEO of VaynerSports. He has also been very integral in getting the All-In Challenge that so many of us have heard about and so many celebrities have gotten all in on. He's been very instrumental in getting that off the ground. He is our friend Gary Vaynerchuk. How are you, Gary V?
I'm extremely well. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Everybody well in your family, in your neck of the woods? Everybody, knock on wood, okay?
Yes, knock on wood, okay. Thank you so much for asking.
You bet, of course. How did the All-In Challenge come to be? Walk me through this, Gary.
Yeah, Michael Rubin, the founder and chairman of Fanatics, which I'm sure all the listeners are aware of since that's where you buy your sports merch, came up with this idea, was sitting around, wanted to give back, reached out to his friend Alan Tisch. They went in a couple days in. They said, wait a minute, we need a lot more firepower. They reached out, and I got excited about it, and we've been under a cocoon for the last, 10 days. It's been live for about 7.5 days. We've raised $16.1 million.
Amazing.
And we are going to be feeding people through putting all proceeds through Feeding America's Food Fund, No Kid Hungry. And so it's been unbelievable. Like, I don't know, it has gotten a lot of attention, so I think people have seen it, but like golf with, Justin Timberlake and Bill Murray at Pebble Beach, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, going through and to your house and doing a lemonade stand. There's just all sorts of Cubans giving you a one-day contract to be a Maverick, and I'm hearing putting you in the game. Some Drake, Ellen DeGeneres co-host, like crazy stuff. So super, super duper excited about it.
Yeah, again, places like Feeding America, Meals on Wheels, World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, just to name a few, to combat food insecurity. And the neat thing about this, Gary, that I love is obviously the famous people wanting to pitch in. That is a lot of pizzazz to it. But there's and I know you're all about this, certainly with your empathy wines. There's a lot of positivity to this. It's all focusing on what we can do now, and then focusing on what the world will be when we're through all this and the great stuff that people can look forward to. I love that part of it, Gary.
I think so. I think, you look for win-win situations, right? And the access that these individuals are giving, and a lot of these individuals have been doing a ton of stuff behind the scenes and giving already, but now they're giving up, time. And it's really significant. It's been really fun. And the raffle tickets at for $10, you could be flying on Drake's plane and going to his concert and hanging out with him, or be in Leo DiCaprio's new movie with a speaking role. Like, it's pretty intense stuff.
Yeah, again, because this is and want to certainly linger on this a little bit here, it's a raffle, right? And then there's, of course, you can bid as well, so you have a chance
there's both. There's auction, summer raffles. There's a lot of dynamics. Honestly, we're just trying to figure out how to raise the most amount of dollars. So we feel, Tom Brady's experience, right? A gentleman I despise as a New York Jets fan, but his package right. The current bid is $775,000. This is, you fly into game one, he flies you in. You after the game, he goes out to dinner with you after his first game as a Buck, and gives you the cleats and the jersey that he wore. That's hard to replicate.
That is hard to replicate. Yeah, I just love your Jets love, man, right there on your sleeve. I mean,
let's call it what it is. As much as the All-In Challenge has been taking up my time,
Yes.
somewhere around a couple hours ago, I've switched completely into draft mode.
All right, let's get into that then. Let's get into that. The Jets are 11th on the clock. They have their choice of a left tackle or any of the wideouts, any of them. Which one do you want the Jets to do, Gary?
I mean, anybody with a half a brain knows we're going left tackle in that spot.
Yep.
We've got 2 second-round picks. This is the greatest receiver draft ever, maybe. Obviously, it all has to play out, but the talent's enormous. Obviously, I have a sports representation business with my brother with Vayner Sports, so I deeply, I'm in love with this class, not only for its depth, not only because we need receivers and it's loaded, but because I've actually got to know a lot of these characters through the process. It's a good group. There's a couple knuckleheads. I'm not going to try to hurt somebody's draft stock. And the teams already, they do their homework. There's some knuckleheads, but this is a high-quality class. And so, frankly, I'd like to move out of 11. I think there's some sneaky tackles. We don't rep this kid, but I love him. Right. I think the Austin Jackson kid from USC is interesting. He'll probably be available late first round. I want the Jets the Jets have a lot of holes. We have a lot of holes. We need a lot of talent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah calls this a Noah's Ark offseason for the Jets because they need 2 of everything, is what he said, and it's time.
And there's only so much you can do. He didn't have that much money to do much because we front-loaded so much of the contract, so it's not just cash, it's cap, and vice versa. We'll be in a much better spot next year because I think the Jets have a real GM. I really mean that. And I'm very on the record, I despised Mike McCagnon. I think he's put down in 5 years one of the worst GM records you've ever seen, considering the money he went into and the situation in every long-term contract he signed, whether it's Tremaine or Mo Wilkerson. I mean, he completely misplayed it. And the drafts have been a struggle. And, oh, by the way, Rich, just to remind you, the New York Jets needed a quarterback the year they took Jamal Adams. And Jamal Adams is an extremely big-time player. But just on the record, for everybody's listening, the Jets needed a quarterback. Josh McCown was their quarterback that year, who's one of the best humans, but was obviously late in his career and not a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And we took Jamal. Oh, by the way, we took another safety in the second round. And we took Jamal, and the next 2 quarterbacks taken at 7 and 10 were Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Rich.
I know, Gary. I know. It's just, oh my God. We could go back all the way to Ken O'Brien over Dan Marino. I mean, there's a history of this sort of thing. We all wear the scars. That said, though, Jamal Adams is a culture changer in that locker room. It's time to sign him, right? What's going on with him and them? Do you think, Gary?
I think that Joe isn't forced to sign him just yet. Joe loves Jamal. He's on the record for that. I think Joe had an off season to attack. I think Joe's got 40 holes. He had 23 free agents going into this season, had to nickel and dime and take care of stuff. And, I think rightfully, Jamal's my friend, let alone I'm a Jets fan.
Right.
He's got time. I understand. Listen, football players. I'm on the agent side. Football players should want to get signed as early as possible. But I hope everybody let's get something completely out of the way. It's laughable how fans think about this. This is 100% business. And oh, by the way, 100% business on every side. It's really easy for a player after the fact to say hometown discount. You mean there was no market for you? I mean, come on, let's really get into this. Nobody's in the business of doing charity for each other. This is purely business. Just like when you do business, Rich, when I do business, this is all business. It's all business. And when you've still got 2 years on your deal, this is not the time to negotiate when he's got to create leverage in other places, period.
Yeah, and we just had on before Tom Curran from NBC Sports Boston say that this Gronk return was totally orchestrated by Team Gronk to force this to happen by unretiring at the worst possible time for the cash-strapped Patriots and get him to Tom. So, I mean,
I think
that's what we're hearing.
That speaks into what's really going on there, right? I mean, I think, all evil empires have to come to an end. So,
You know, for one to do that, one would argue that they're not as in love with the owner or the coach as they all like to play up there. And so, you know, listen, unparalleled success will be very difficult to replicate.
Right.
Boston Celtics type stuff. Like, it was a great run, but, like, you know, Tom not being in New England's a nice starting point. I still think Belichick is an all-time coach, and I will never forget that Matt Castle year. So I know exactly what that looked like, that 11-5 team that didn't make the playoffs. So thank God, because who knows what they would have done in there. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But, you know, we need to build around our young quarterback. That's what I'm focused on, and we've got a long way to go. And this is an all-time important draft, and I think we have an emotionally intelligent and football man at the top, and I expect this to be a fundamentally successful draft for the New York Jets.
Gary Vaynerchuk here on the Rich Eisen Show, 5-time best-selling author. What's winetext.com? What's that?
I appreciate it. Thank you, Rich. You're my man.
Come on, Gary. Gary, there may be an I in Rich and Eisen, but I'm a team player. You know what I'm saying, Gary?
You're the best, brother. Anybody who's listening right now, if you buy wine, winetext.com is a deal of the day texting platform. So it's kind of like the old Groupon or the Living Social where you get a crazy deal. $58 Cabernet, $14. $28 Chardonnay, you know, $13. And then you just reply with a 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I know sports and wine go hand in hand. I know a lot of you are sitting at home right now, given the current situation. So if you're buying from those deal of the day email sites or services or apps, highly recommend you check out winetext.com. My father Sasha will be very happy.
I like it. Very good. And so you're, I guess, the guy to definitely ask about this. When you're talking to people in your world of business and obviously a little bit of sports, do you think we're going to have, when do you think we get sports back, Gary? I mean, I know that's the $1,000,000 question, and people who are experts in health can't answer it, but I'm wondering what the general sense is.
August, late July, August. I mean, I think we have to be prepared for sports with no attendance. I think this is going to be a phased attack. You know, I think there's a substantial chance that several weeks, you know, you could see the NFL playing without crowds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, real talk. Like, it's very strange to think about what this might look like, but definitely the sports affected right now, you know, hockey, basketball, baseball, you know, UFC, boxing. Like, you may see a scenario where we'll be watching sports without people in attendance. And oh, by the way, the reality is that we're going to go into an environment where we're about to see ratings on this NFL drop. Rich, literally the entire country is going to look at your beautiful face. Like, I am, you know, I'm not watching this Last Dance documentary because of my Knicks fandom.
Yes.
But I'm sure the ratings on it are phenomenal, and I'm sure it's a nice show.
Right.
But this NFL draft, like, when I tell you, I can't wait to see the ratings. And obviously there's multiple networks and things of that nature, but I mean, I believe non-NFL fans are going to watch it because it's something to live sports, and I'm genuinely excited about it.
Yeah, me too. And I know you're zooming into the Draftathon. I think on Friday.
Oh, yes.
I think you're going to be joining us on the Draftathon, Gary. Correct?
I'm super excited about that.
I'll be there. Always appreciate
Rich, who do
it.
you want the Jets to take?
I want the left tackle that's remaining. That's who I want. You got to protect the kid, man. I mean, you got to protect. And here's the problem, Gary, is that you've got to evaluate him. I know you're very high on him. And whenever I've met him, he has you at hello. The minute Sam Darnold opens his mouth.
Forget about his charisma. It's data, Rich. Him in a clean pocket is crazy data. We got to protect him. It's his passing ratings. His data is clean. When he has a clean pocket, and let's not get twisted, his offensive lines have been very, very difficult situations. He's been unbelievably good.
I know, but the problem is he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and that he also doesn't have maybe the weaponry in which to actually evaluate him. And it's just freaking me out that the Jets in this day and age, you know it, being a sports fan and an agent from all angles here, Gary, you know you got to win the championship in the quarterback's first contract, because he's going to start being worth 25, 30, 35 million bucks, could even go more north of that. And he may not have to even play in a playoff game in order to demand that sort of salary. So that's the concern, is I don't know if they're going to have the time to actually evaluate that on him. I just don't know if they're going to have that. And that's the thing that, you know, taking a left tackle is very difficult to do, certainly when you may have every single possible receiver playmaker that's sitting out there.
No. It's not. It's not impossible. Rich, go on YouTube and watch when the Jets drafted DeBrickashaw Ferguson. ESPN zooms into the crowd, and you'll see a young me pointing to my head, saying it's a smart pick. And everybody wanted us to take Matt Leinart, and I wanted DeBrickashaw. And then I went wild when we took Nick Mangold. I understand that fans get excited about highlight reels. There is no highlight reels if you don't have time to make it. I am thrilled to go left tackle here. I will be upset if we go wide receiver here because I know how deep the receiver class is, and there's going to be a fourth-round receiver who's going to be an all-pro in this draft.
That's true.
There just is.
All right, before you leave, you want to pound the table for your boy Montez? Nobody's talking about him. Go for it.
Do you like him? I'm glad that's who you decided to bring up for this.
Well,
I appreciate it. Listen,
I can't bring up every one of your clients. But
I get it.
You know.
Well, Darnay Holmes is going to be the first off the board. He's going to be a sneaky corner out of UCLA. But yeah, listen, I think Montez is going to find himself on an NFL roster. I think he had a really strong combine.
He did.
Showed his athleticism. He's a really great kid, which I think genuinely matters. I think a lot of these quarterbacks are lost at hello, to your point, by the way. And I think that he's got all the raw talents. And Colorado, he made some decisions that, put up some picks, and I think that puts him in the place that he's at. And so I think he's a mid-late kind of guy, and I think it's going to be – he's got a ton – listen, he's been on Zoom calls all week, so clearly there's interest in him, so that's good to see.
Right.
So I'm excited about Steven, and I love the way he ran his 40. And of course, 15-year-old Gary lost his mind when he heard Rich Eisen mumble his name about Cole McDonald and Steve going back to back there. So I appreciate you saying that. That was very
Hey man, you're a friend and a colleague and all that stuff, man. I appreciate every time you support this show or call in any way, shape, or form. It's always a blast, Gary. Always.
Keep doing it. I can't wait to watch you.
Right back at you. That's Gary V at Gary V on Twitter, Instagram. Everybody's following him. You should too. CEO and co-founder of VaynerMedia, and again, that the beautiful all-in challenge that's going on. Jets are going to draft a tackle, man, and that's part of the reason why the Dolphins might want to trade up for one, because they're going to go fast. And if the Jets, it would be just like the Jets to win enough games to not be top 10 and lose out on Wills, Thomas, Wirfs, and Becton, because they're going to go fast.
Yeah, our buddy Michael Lombardi said the Dolphins want to go ahead of the Giants to take a tackle, and that it's happening.
And then Simmons drops. Because then if this happens, if what everybody's saying, Lombo now saying that they want to go ahead of the Giants because the Giants are going to take the tackle.
Run on tackles in the top 10.
So then that means that goes, if you wouldn't mind, Don, putting the draft order up in a second. Because, again, this is all out fully in the open now with Ian Rappaport saying the Dolphins are hoping to move up. So if the Dolphins go tackle and the Giants go tackle, then the Lions would go corner, right, at 5.
Yep.
And that would mean the Chargers would have their choice between both quarterbacks and Isaiah Simmons. Wow. Holy cow.
They have to
or their own tackle.
They have to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They do not.
I mean, look, Tyrod Taylor, all due respect,
they do not.
That doesn't light the fire,
Why can't they at the top of the second? You love Jalen Hurts. Maybe they do too.
Okay, I mean.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to there.
Isn't he just a younger Tyrod Taylor?
Who knows?
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I honestly cannot make that evaluation sitting here. But it would be just the Jets' luck. Because he's right. The receivers are so deep and they need so much that you need a foundational piece. Right. Obviously, getting a huge playmaker that can be transformational is great, but it doesn't matter if that guy can transform you by getting open if you can't have the time to throw.
Oh, yeah.
When he's open.
Linemen are boring picks, but they're smart. Just
Gary
look what Dallas did
Gary
the last
in Radio City pointing to his head. 844-204-RICH number to dial. We'll empty the phone banks and let you know we've got a great draft day guest list and the second day of the draft guest list here on the rest of the week on the Rich Eisen Show. Oh, man. Lots to unpack right there. So July and August, no fans, but the players would have to be protected. That's the whole thing, is that the players are, if you can't gather in certain spots with more than 10 people in a room because of how contagious COVID-19 is, I'm imagining it's difficult to field 11 on one side of the football and be on one side of the football, and then there's no social distancing between linemen on either side of the football. Again, so you'd have to essentially really get the testing up and create this bubble universe where players only play. That's it.
Yep. Just kind of, what's being talked about for Major League Baseball and the NBA, golf.
All right, put up, Don, what you want to put up. Go ahead, Don. There you go. That's the war. Wins above replacement.
We're doing war for football now?
Doing war everywhere, man. So this is from over a year ago when Gronk retired. See you in Canton. You can see the date. You can see the date when he retired. It was after free agency.
He's the greatest tight end of all time.
So you let the Patriots new league, let the new league, again, for Tom Curran's point, let the new league year start. Jared Cook couldn't be sold to come because he didn't want to be 1B.
Right.
He wanted to be 1A for another GOAT quarterback.
Yeah, that's the drum that Dan Shaughnessy's pounding, is that Gronk screwed. Pats fans should be pissed that Gronk kind of held the team hostage.
You heard Tommy Curran give that full voice right there, man.
I'm not choosing to look at it that way. I mean, this guy provided Pats fans and the organization with his best years. He gave everything. He played injured. He came back from injuries when he didn't have to. He earned the right. It's fine. Not going to be upset about it.
All right, 844-204-RICH. We will empty the phone banks when we come back on NBCSN, Sirius Channel 211, Dan Patrick Radio, and YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show here on NBCSN Sirius XM Channel 211, YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Please hit that subscribe button when you go to our YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate that. You can follow us Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Call us 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on the show. And just again with Gary V, and that's the thing that I wanted to ask him this question now, even though it's kind of out of place now, to be honest with you, because I want to enjoy tomorrow and enjoy the rest of this week because it is a sense of normal. The draft will look abnormal. We get it. We're all sheltered in place, right? I mean, we come here, do the social distancing because we're far enough apart. There's fewer than 10 of us here every day. So if we're healthy enough to do it, knock on wood, we'll come in and do it. But look, we're all sheltered in place. It won't look the same. But it feels like the draft is happening because it is. When's the next time after this draft that you know there is an event in the sporting world that it's going to feel like the same? Could it be next calendar year? Even with sports coming back if there are no fans. Like this kind of feels, even though it will look strange and feel a little abnormal, we're all going to come together and celebrate a sport that we love and an event that has the bigness to it, because there's a lot going on. I mean, the draft talk going on. If this feels like a regular draft week, does it not, Chris? With all the stuff, the news, and
it sure does.
So we're going to soak this in. But I did have to ask Gary V, who talks to a ton of people in business, a ton of sports business people. What about sports? And he thinks maybe August they can get back, but no fans. That said, the players are going to have to be comfortable doing it. And you're going to have to quarantine players. You're going to have to get a ton of tests that we're still not seeing enough of in our country, prevalent enough. I still know some people who are in parts of this country, they're not feeling great, can't get tested. And you're like, what's going on? Where are the tests? Promised millions and millions and millions of tests by the end of a certain month, and now we're in a different month. So until you see that, maybe a league will be doing what Major League Baseball is doing, is getting 10,000 people tested in a manner that we can do this safely. That's why I wanted to ask him that. And I guess for the moment, we'll place that conversation about when things are going to open up, sports-wise, aside. Let's spend the next 24, 48, 72, and 90 hours enjoying the draft, focusing on what is important in the outside world by raising enough money through the All-In Challenge or NFL.com/relief, where everyone's going to be you're going to hear that website a lot on the NFL Network ESPN broadcast, on linear television, on the NFL Draft-a-thon that I'll be in. You want to open your second window, make it your first window on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Yahoo Sports, Reddit. It's going to be inescapable if you want to find it.
It's going to be great.
And we're going to raise as much money as we possibly can on that broadcast and through these broadcasts. Let's just lose ourselves while also maintaining the proper focus on what is important outside of these walls and help. And help. Certainly in this world in which we're talking about distancing, let's all hit unity. That's the idea. Because who knows the next time we're going to feel this way over a sporting event. Before we hit the phone lines, you got a couple of quick news items?
Yeah,
over there,
just
Chris?
too quick. The Bucs just tweeted out Rob Gronkowski is going to have his introductory conference call, quote. You can watch that at the Bucs Twitter in about 45 minutes.
Oh, today?
Today.
Okay.
It's happening. And
that was fast.
Longtime Notre Dame women's basketball coach Muffet McGraw just shockingly announced her retirement.
Oh, boy.
After 33 years.
One of the all-time greats. 2
national championships. One of the greatest in the women's and the college hoops game.
Okay. Well, then I say, I guess, congratulations to her. I'm hoping it's the manner in which she wants to say farewell. That's just a first blush thought right there. Back to the phone lines at 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Nick in Athens, Ohio, has been hanging on for quite some time, right in the heart of Joe Burrow country. What's up, Nick?
How are you doing, Mr. Rich?
I'm doing fine, man. You're going to have a native son first overall in less than about 24 hours. So
at the end, I got a little teaser for you at the end there that no insider in sports has but an Athenian.
Okay.
First off, real quick, I just found you guys on NBC FM. I've been looking for you since you guys left the audience, and I knew you'd find another spot. I just I was so excited today telling your producers and people that I couldn't believe I found you. And first, I want to, because the last time I spoke with you was the last day on audience. Rockman was having his baby. Gage, I believe, a big 10-pounder. He owes his wife years of good favors. And congratulations to Brockman. Hey, Del Tufo. I also, real quick, want to say I can't believe he didn't clean up for Susie on the day that she filled in for him.
That's right.
On
our last day on audience, Susie sat in Brockman's chair. She sat in. She's a frequent host of this show when I can't sit in the chair, and obviously sharing it with family is always something very important. And nobody's more important than Sue. So what's on your mind there in Athens, Ohio?
Here's a little something.
Okay.
Joe has talked with a couple of his high school football athletes.
Yep.
He has said it to several people. He would, I'll say allegedly, because I haven't directly heard it from his mouth, but would rather go to the Dolphins. For me, that's hard to hear. Man, I could just drive 2.5 hours, 2:15, and watch his games every Sunday. But, of course, we know that where you want to go has nothing to do with where you're going to go.
Exactly, Nick. And I will say this to you, and thank you for the call. You're going to be able to drive 2:15 and see his games. Well, look, that's what we heard during the Super Bowl, and he may sit there and think that, but it's nobody is going to tell Mike Brown what to do. Certainly not somebody who doesn't have the ability to direct his draft rights, which means every draftee, pretty much. Let's go to Bill in the great state of Alaska. What's up, Bill?
Hello.
You there, Bill?
Hello?
Yeah, Bill, you're on.
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you about Dak Prescott.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you look at the past Super Bowls,
yes,
with Mahomes winning in Kansas City or Wentz in the Eagles, Wilson in Seattle, Flacco in Baltimore, seems like they're all winning with rookie contracts. What would be the better chance for Dallas, since they can't sign Prescott, to trade him for a bunch of draft picks and go again with the rookie and be able to keep all the players that they're losing?
Well, Bill, thanks for the call. That would be, isn't that what Bill Barnwell threw out there in his mock draft only with trades? That the Cowboys trade Dak to the Dolphins, start from scratch? Jerry's going to get it done. It just takes forever. They're always taking longer than other teams think or would take. So that won't happen. By the way, I think was Bill in Alaska either surprised by coming on or was too busy staring at Russia from his house?
I think he was hanging out with Blair in Maine. Call back.
Brady posted on his Instagram today.
Yeah, so
what do we have it?
It's
you can't handle it? It's a love letter to Gronk?
Well, it's just him calling out for Gronk.
Oh, you mean it's a video?
It's a video that he posted a couple years ago.
Do we have it?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay,
that he ran back today.
Okay, let's see.
A little tired, but Gronk reporting.
The old saw. Going back at the old Instagram archives. Before Tom probably was on Instagram, right?
That was probably one of his
first
early
posts. Okay, very good.
I mean, it's just toying with my Gronk still has New England Patriots tight end as his Twitter bio.
Oh, that'll change.
And his picture is him and then Pat's gear. It's like,
well, one of the people I was giving voice to at the very top of our second hour about the Patriots, cry them a river, Alan Dallas back here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Albert?
How are you doing, guys? First things first, before I get to what I want to say, Brockman, have you always been a top button guy? I'm noticing here you got that top button going.
Yeah, it's called fashion now. It's cool.
Oh, good Lord. It looks good on you, though. Hey, listen, and I hate to drop this with all due respect thing, but the prognosticators have been talking about how you pay up for quarterback premium if you draft, and you don't have to give 200 points. You got to give 400 points, blah, 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 blah. But now they come out and say, no. Dolphins are looking to move up for a left tackle, not a quarterback. I mean, what are they talking about? You're either trading up for a quarterback and you're going to pay a premium, right? But now all of a sudden, no, it's not going to be a quarterback. It's going to be a left tackle.
Look, man.
I don't get it.
Al, here's the deal. Your Giants, and thanks for the call, brother. Always love hearing from you. Your Giants are going to get a tackle of significant talent or Isaiah Simmons if the Dolphins move up in front for a tackle, which I still don't believe it. Look, I've been down this road before where I'm like, there's no way the Texans are taking Mario Williams over Reggie Bush. This is not happening. Till it happened. To the point where, Schefter was on NFL Network at the time. He reports it. Bob McNair himself came on the next day before the draft and confirmed it. All right? Then I was like, yeah, the Browns aren't taking Baker Mayfield #1 overall. And they did. But, man, that is the drama for tomorrow night. Tua, is he going to drop? Will the Dolphins really not take him? And if they trade up, will they trade up for neither quarterback? For real? I want to thank Matt Miller, Isaiah Simmons, Michael Strahan, Tom Curran, and the great Gary Vaynerchuk for being on this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. Let me read off to you who's on tomorrow's program. We've got a great guest list in store. Joel Klatt's going to be on Friday's show. My bad. Pardon me. Tomorrow's show, we've got David Shaw, who normally would have been doing the NFL Network draft with me, the Stanford coach. Right. He will be on the program tomorrow. And then in advance of his Chiefs being on the clock in the catbird seat of the 32nd overall pick, diehard sports fan, Chiefs fan, Eric Stone Street of Modern Family.
Boom.
Pat McAfee, America's Sweetheart, will be on Friday's show along with Joel Klatt. Peter King will let us know what he sees on tomorrow night's NFL draft. And with all of this going on, Gronk being announced as a Buck and Brady Instagramming about Gronk, and the NFL draft is coming. Perfect opportunity for the baseball front office mavens, for the Major League Baseball League office to issue their report on the Red Sox cheating. Is that happening?
Yeah, it happened right now. Ken Rosenthal just tweeted out on The Athletic. He has the breaking news, the penalties for the Red Sox and to what they were accused of doing. Nothing bad. Loss of a 2020 second-round pick. Ban of replay operator J.T. Watkins through 2020 playoffs.
Is he the deflator of this situation?
And from doing the same job in 21. And a ban on Alex Cora through the 2020 playoffs. But, of course, he was already fired by the Red Sox. He is only banned for his conduct with the Astros.
Okay.
So like we've said all along, nothing went on.
Something went on. The replay guy.
Fall guy.
The replay guy.
The replay guy.
The replay guy.
The replay guy. The guy. Whatever that guy was doing, it was no good.
The Matt Walsh.
You can't do it.
Can't do what?
Whatever he was doing.
Whatever he's doing.
I need a read up on this. The deflator's not walking through that door. Rob Gronkowski's not walking through that door.
He's definitely not.
I know, man. Oh, baby. The Bucs just announced a new defensive assistant. Let me read it.
Stop it.
Kevin Garnett.
Get out of here.
Kevin Garnett is now part of the Buccaneers staff.
I mean, you tweeting that yesterday about David Ortiz set me off.
Wait a minute. As long as the Dodgers are not playing, Dave Roberts is now
he's
trying to steal things. He's trying to steal things. Steal bases.
He wants the pirate ship.
We'll see you at draft day, everybody.